TV, watching on Warchant TV, all that stuff, right? All that stuff. And a good day, everybody, and a good day. Wagers were fun today. I feel like we've gotten a handle on some things. We've been able to gather, ride out the wave of mediocrity, do a good enough job of keeping our head above water. It's go time. It's time to do some things. I feel like it's time to get this in order. I will say, don't know, and I'll ask the question before we post picks, that I can't get a different feel. I've been searching for and hoping to find a different feel, Tom, for the game on Saturday night. And I did not get a different feel.
That's interesting because yesterday you were a little bit more hopeful.
Well, Brock did that for me. Yeah.
So as part of what I'm doing this week for the site, I went and watched basically all of Brock's snaps. I skipped the North Alabama read option touchdown run and the seam throw, which was a nice throw. That was a nice throw. But I looked at, his game against Louisville. I even watched a couple of plays against UF, like the going rogue play with the bubble to the left.
Yeah.
And watched the Orange Bowl as hard as that was to do. I only got till about the early third quarter at that point. What are we doing? And then the SMU finish. And there's some things there that give you hope. And then there are some clear keys of what he's going to have to do better. Because there's...
Well, listen, early in the show, I'm going to give you a chance here, Tom, because I was going to go a different route, but I'm more intrigued by the information that you're going to bring to the table after having vetted every one of his snaps or of note, because I did not do that. I did not vet every one of his snaps in his previous appearances. Now, I saw them when they happened, but you've got a fresh perspective on it. I also have seen him practice a gazillion times, so I get a sense of who he is in that way. Yeah, but what came to the forefront of what has to change for there to be better results for Brock?
Yeah, the reason I wanted to watch the games, because I've seen the practices too, not as many as you have, but I've seen the practices, but I wanted to see the calls they had for him. Like, what were they comfortable enough in a game setting to call for Brock? A little bit more pistol read option stuff, a little bit more split zone read option stuff.
I kind of like that, by the way.
But the problems for him are holding the ball too long for the deep shot when something underneath is open and available to him.
I like that. I understand why that's death with this offensive line.
It is.
I also like the mentality of that, though. You get where I'm going with that.
Which is why I think Mike is messaging the way he is this week about needing him to calm down, because 6 yards in front of you is much better than a 50-50 ball 25 yards down the field. And in the ACC championship, he got hurt a few ways. Number one, there were drops. The ACC championship game is eerily similar to the offense we've seen this year. And I know the circumstances of it are all different.
Completely different, yeah.
But eerily similar. He has a seam throw to Keon Coleman that Keon just drops.
Yes.
He's got a hitch throw to Kyle Morlock that would have moved the chains that Kyle drops. He's got a throw out to...
Kyle Morlock dropped the ball in which he was open?
I'm going to blow past it. He has a throw to Johnny on the sideline that would have been, of the three, that is the most difficult catch of the three.
I remember it.
Would have been nice.
Kind of got to have it.
There's another throw on a corner to Keon. Would have been nice. It's a difficult throw. He drops it in the bucket. Again, you sense a theme with young quarterbacks. Outside the numbers, deep throws, he seems much more comfortable than over the middle of the field. Although, even in limited reps last week against SMU, it looked like he was more comfortable to go over the middle of the field. The whole thing for Brock is, hey, man, I want to make a big play as much as anybody. But if you've got an underneath receiver who is doing this, and for those of you that are driving, his hands are here, and all you got to do is pitch and catch it. 2nd and 4 ain't bad, man.
We've been saying it all year. Get the ball out of your hands. Let's go. Make it fast. Make it quick. Let's go.
And there are some instances, too, where he didn't feel the rush, even if it was on his non-blind side from the right. And come on now, man. It's got to be now. That's the thing I kept saying. Now. Let it go. Let it go. Get rid of it. Get rid of it.
Well, we have to remember, and I think this is important, and this is what I said yesterday, and what I've been very consistent with this. I'm going to stay this way. These were the pains and the things that they were going to be going through if they had decided to ride with Brock coming into the season. Like these growing pains, these frustrations of watching a guy hold the ball too long or be too too bloodthirsty by trying to get the ball down the field, always searching for the big greedy. Greedy is the word I was looking for.
Bloodthirsty is a good word for it because he really wants to splash.
Yeah,
he does.
He wants to make a big play. But, man, I really do like the idea of saying whoa as opposed to giddy up. So, again, man, I like a kid who wants to be aggressive. I like a kid who wants to make big plays down the field. I like the mindset of that.
Given where our offense is this year, it's the antithesis, and it's really something that is a sight for sore eyes because all of our opponents tee off on the screens, on the bubbles, the underneath throws, the drags. I mean,
give him something to think about.
Right, and he will. And look, I mean, he made 3 or 4 excellent throws. We talked about it the day of, but in the Orange Bowl.
Oh, that throw, the long throw, the long catch to Portier is a great throw.
Correct.
There's also another one out of bounds. It's a great throw.
That Destin nearly caught, and you wonder about the video evidence there, but there are a couple other deep shots too. There's one to Darion that he misses, and actually in this game against SMU, he missed one to Darion up the sideline. That's a touchdown, and that'll hurt your feelings. The game was already in the balance, but it would have been a nice moment if it was completed. But then, the back-to-back things. Like, so he makes a great deep throw. Then he almost looks like he's guessing on a goal-to-go throw, and Ja'Kai Douglas is in the back of the end zone waving his arms. Now, if Ja'Kai shows up, Brock, this week, as in, body language that's not great, that'll be the third time because he did it twice in the Orange Bowl. And I went back and watched that, and I'm wondering, do they have an issue? What's going on here? Because
I'd pull him. I mean, you're not good enough to do that, so I'd pull him at that point. Ja'Kai, you can sit your ass.
It could have been about the snub. Could have been about. I mean, that is a loaded situation. That is a tough day. You're not out there fully armed, and you know it. But there are some things with Brock that are at least trends, even though he's had limited in-game reps. The number one thing is, hey man, if it's right there before you and it's free is better than, a 50-50 ball for something splashy.
What a busy night. And it was fun last night, and it's fun again tonight. This has been a good sports week. Every day we get off the air, I race home and watch 3 baseball games, and I'm like, this is heaven. Tonight begins, Tom. I don't know if you know this because you're locked into the first round with your Mets. Winner take all tonight. Here we go, right? So you're nervous in that way. But here we go. Today starts 55 consecutive days of football. So for the next 55 days, there is a football game on. If you want to watch a football game, there is one on. 55 straight days.
That'll work.
Buddy, that will work. I have learned and gotten so much better at appreciating all the football that is on when it's on. In the offseason, you oftentimes lament that it's going to be what feels like an eternity until you can watch football again. So a few years ago, when I had that feeling wash over me, that, damn, I'm going to miss football feeling, that blanket of sorrow that the season and that the year was over, right? Listen, we're sports fans. We wouldn't be in this business. We love hockey. We love baseball. We love basketball. We love football. We love a lot of sports. So I can always I love when golf gets going in earnest, those kinds of things. I can watch all of it. But like everybody else in this country, seemingly judging by the ratings, football is king. And so you do feel a sense of sorrow. It's like your buddy has to go away for a year or for 9 months. You're like, okay, damn, man, I'm going to miss this. I'm going to miss these moments where we get to go play golf or get to go do whatever. That's the NFL in college leaving you. You're like, I'm going to miss when I come home and just go, oh, there's a game on tonight. Yeah, So what has happened is that's been the impetus for me watching all of them. I watch them. When Maction starts, I'm like, I'm in. Tuesday and Wednesdays, Maction, gotcha. I'm watching. I'm going to bet on it. I'm going to have a good time with it. I'm going to have it. Certainly you hope it's a good game, but I'm going to have a little fun with some of these numbers, and we're going to be watching football, and you get these little aha moments, these little cool moments where you're like, this is turning into a war. It's 30-30 entering the fourth. I'm glad I watched this game. It happens. So I just want everybody to soak it in, to take advantage of the 55 straight days of football that begins starting tonight. But it's a weird one for you because it's Bucs Falcons. And this would be huge. It is huge for those of us that root for either the Falcons or the Bucs, because you can make an argument, pretty good one too, based on how average to below average this division typically is. you can make an argument that if the Bucs were to go on the road tonight and beat the Falcons, we can call it a wrap. We can call it a day. Division over. Another conference champion or division championship for the Bucs. Oh, yeah, got a little carried away. Yeah. Division championship for the Bucs in the NFC South. It's probably not, but you could look at it that way because here's why. At that point, the Bucs would be 2 games up on the Falcons, having beaten Atlanta in Atlanta.
They'd be 4-0 in the NFC as well.
Yeah.
Which is a secondary tiebreaker.
No, you'd be feeling pretty good is what you'd be feeling. I know it seems too early to say these things, but tonight could be big. Now, the Falcons are a 1.5-point favorite, and I don't know how much of it you're going to see. You're going to be watching your Mets.
Well, what's interesting is because all the other series were, wrapped up yesterday, our game was originally supposed to start 8:38 p.m., but now it's starting at 7. So I get a reprieve for the football for the second half. But in truth, if we win, I don't know that I'm going to remember the second half anyway, because I'm going to celebrate like it's a Sunday, like Jameis did back in the day. Anytime you advance in the MLB postseason, you celebrate these things. I don't usually get crazy on a Thursday, but if we come through, that would be great. And I saw Noel Kev's contribution and his little dig, and it was funny because he said, we need Brock Glenn to have, would you say, a Jackson Churio-esque performance after his 2 home runs yesterday.
Yeah.
Really quickly on that, the Mets threw a guy that I wasn't thrilled that they threw in that situation, Maton, because he pitched twice against Milwaukee on the weekend. Hey, they know him.
They've seen him, yeah.
However, their reasoning was so sound. This guy, Churio, youngest player in the bigs, had never hit a home run on a cutter. So his specialty is the cutter.
He has now more than once.
He has now. Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah.
So the Brewers with 3 in the 8th, game 3 tonight. Winner faces Philadelphia on Saturday. So you'll be right back after it watching New York and Philadelphia if it's to happen. I can tell you, thinking about it from Major League Baseball's perspective, you know that they would fall in love instantly with Padres, Dodgers, Mets, Phillies. Woo! That's the stuff that you're looking for, because in truth, the Padres and the Dodgers hate each other. The Padres actually won the season series over the Dodgers and believe they can beat the Dodgers, so that's going to be a war. And then the Mets and Phillies have never liked each other. It's always been a hatred between the two fan bases. So you get these two, bunch of red asses playing each other. That would be fantastic. Now,
and they're a better ball club, but we played them well this year.
Yeah, and the problem is, and once you're in the tournament, it doesn't really matter about the regular season. You're just,
but
win
from
the
a
series,
matchup standpoint, sometimes you see those matchups, you're like, ooh, that's tasty, but oh man, the best thing they do is the biggest weakness for the other team. No.
Right.
If we can get there, which who knows, but if we can get there.
Well, you got to win tonight. And obviously baseball is really rooting for you to get there. They don't want the Brewers and the Phillies.
Well, let's hope the home plate umpire is doing so as well, because Quintana ain't exactly throwing 97.
So
I need a Frank Drebin. It's 54 feet away.
Yeah. My love and condolences go out to so many Orioles fans who I know. Big hugs for those guys, including our own Ira Schafel. Sweet Jesus, baseball is the cruelest of the cruel. Kansas City sweeps Baltimore. I want to thank the Oriole hitters for all of 1 run in 18 innings. What is it you say you do here? Can you imagine being a pitcher on that team? Oh, we gave up 3 runs total in 18 innings and got swept.
Give me an 8-iron, Johnny.
I mean, sweet Jesus. And that's 2 years in a row, and now they're 0-5 in the last 2 playoff series they've played, in 10 straight playoff game losses for the Orioles.
It makes that 162 feel a little bit more daunting the next time it comes around.
Yeah, because you got to endure all of it, and then you're going to say, if you make the playoffs, so what?
Right.
So effing what? What'd it get us? A run? 1 effing run in 18 innings? That's what it got us? NFL favorites, Redemption Thursday wagers. We got to get to them. Don't post them yet. We'll do it in the next segment. But I do want you to know I sprinkled some more in the NFL this week. And I read a stat this morning. The average spread for favorites in the NFL this year is 4.2. That is the lowest number for favorites to be favored on average over underdogs since the NFL player strike of 1982. If you remove that year, you got to go to 1962 since favorites were favored by as few points as they currently are on average. Last year in the NFL, if you look at betting trends, it was the best year the public has ever had against Las Vegas. The public did well last year in the NFL. This year, it's the worst start for the public in 20-plus years. The public is winning 36% of the time. Vegas is making their money all back, as they always do.
Now, that's funny because a week or two ago, I had a 6-team teaser pleaser, just because.
Yeah, because it's fun.
Yeah. 4 of them were wrong. With the tease. It's
true.
4 of them were wrong.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, man.
The way to bet the NFL so far this year is money line. It's just crazy what's happening.
Nothing.
No teasing, pleasing, nothing. Tonight, Bucs are going to be once again without right tackle Luke Gedeke. He'll miss his 4th consecutive game. No Antoine Winfield Jr.
Golly.
No no Cansey.
No, of course not.
It's a little frustrating how banged up the Bucs are.
I'm glad Winfield played in garbage time, though, in week 1. It really paid off.
You're obsessed with that stuff, buddy.
God, freaking.
Falcons favored by 1.5. The over-under 43.5. Tonight's game is on Amazon. But it is on Amazon at 8:15. Baseball games have been flying by. 2 hours, 2.5 hours. You might get to see the bulk of the Bucs.
Yeah, I might need him. I might need him to help me, get over it, hopefully.
Redemption Thursday wagers coming your way in a second. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
The weather is unpredictable and can cause issues around your home. Weston Trawick provides commercial, residential, and industrial electrical wiring services, yearly inspections on fire alarms, portable generator sales, and so much more. With 24/7 emergency service and repair, Weston Trawick will be your calm in the storm. Give them a call at 514-0003. Weston Trawick, professional electrical services day or night. Visit online at westontrawick.com.
Time. It's the one thing we never get back. We can't create it. We can't buy it. We can't store it somewhere. Once it's gone for good, which makes it the most valuable thing we have. The only real question is how we spend our time. So, how much time are you spending every day running in circles with a computer network using old software on old equipment that's wasting your time, that gets in the way and leaves you feeling angry and frustrated? Let's fix that. Call Crown Networking. They've been helping people just like you and I make the best use of their time for the last 20 years. Now is the time for you to make the call. Here's the number in Tallahassee, 850-999-0090, 999-0090, or online at crownnetworking.com. Oh, and talk to them about getting you a new phone system, too. It's time.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
This is Alex from Fulmers. We've been buying gold and silver jewelry, fine watches, and other collectibles for over 45 years. But did you know Fulmers buys and sells gold and silver coins, bars, and bullion? Don't get scammed online or pay high shipping and handling fees. Call or stop by Fulmers for a quick and easy quote. No matter if you're new to investing in bullion or have been collecting a lifetime, Fulmers is your local source for buying, selling gold and silver coins and bullion. Fulmers, more than you might expect, with 2 great locations. As you probably know, Fulmer's buys, sells, and loans on just about anything of value. What you might not know is that when you buy something from us, we guarantee the total satisfaction of your purchase. Buy it, take it home, and if for any reason you decide you don't want it within 7 days, Fulmer's will give you 100% of your money back. And if you decide you don't want the item within 30 days, Fulmer's will let you exchange it for something you do want. At Fulmer's, we guarantee you're going to be happy with your purchase or we'll buy it back. Fulmer's, check cashing, pawn service, and sales. 2 times more than you might expect with 2 great locations.
Science-backed, technology tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
All right, let's do this thing. First, though, before I do, thank you, Noel Kev. Yeah, that is funny. We did. You posted it already. Okay, I just saw it pull up his star. That was well done. You chuckled.
So the pitcher hadn't allowed a home run in 180 batters, and the kid hadn't hit a cutter out of the yard, and he went. That thing went like 450.
Mm-hmm.
That was tankaroony.
Your boys put your boy over here sprinkled a little pizza money on Mackenzie Hughes today. He's -7 through 16.
Oh, okay.
Tom, you don't ignore the Sanderson Farms.
Well,
we don't ignore the Sanderson Farms. I love the Sanderson Farms.
Isn't Mackenzie Canadian?
He is.
So he's fired up from the loss. That's a bitter taste in his mouth kind of round on a Thursday.
Let's get it done. Jackson, Mississippi, welcoming in the world's best in the form of
the world's best President's Cup runner-ups.
Mackenzie Hughes, Bill Haas.
Stage. Bill Haas. Oh.
Patton Kazire, Keith Mitchell, Martin Laird, Zach Blair, Joseph Bramlett. Getting after it, guys.
Where's my guy, Bo Hostler? He's got to be out there.
We'll look for Bo.
That's right.
I didn't scroll down the leaderboard.
I believe that's what people say.
We'll look for Bo.
We'll look for Bo.
We see if we can find a little Bo. Pearson Cootie's out there. Little Ryan Fox for that ass. Luke List. This kind of tournament Luke List could win. Taylor Moore. Got you some money on some Taylor Moore? Maybe. How about a little pizza money on Cam Champ?
You're a Cam Champ under 73.5.
I will. I'll do. I mean, this is my time of year. I'll go. It's Joel Damon season. We'll drop some Joel Damon money out there. Joel Damon loves him. This is how he keeps his card. The Sanderson Farms and the like. That's why golf betting's fun. It makes every tournament, even the Sanderson Farms, interesting. Okay, let's do it, Tommy. We finally got our head above water. Let's see what we can do here. Minnesota. -2.5 against the Jets in London.
Just for your purposes, I put the NFL on the bottom of the graphic.
Oh,
because
okay,
typically
yeah.
the NFL's second, so I'm just communicating to you.
Well, then screw the Vikings. We'll get to them in a moment. Back up top. Thank you for putting the graphic up. Florida +2.5 against UCF. This is a ugly, tough to, kind of hold your nose in bet game. But that was an impressive win for Colorado last week, an impressive win for Deion's bunch to go into Orlando and beat up on sorry-ass Gus Malzahn. They ran the ball exceptionally well, which is not something they've been able to do before. I do think they have in Shador and those 3 receivers, if they keep them upright, they've got a chance to move the ball consistently against everybody because that is a very talented group at wide receiver. But the big surprise was that they were able to run the ball. Why am I talking about Colorado? Well, I got to give credit where credit's due. They played really well. That's probably the most impressive win that Deion's had yet. He hasn't done anything to be impressed by until that one, in my opinion. Now, I don't think UCF is good. It's more about the way that the game was played. But I was stunned to see UCF favored against Florida. Now, Florida's bad, but so's UCF. I don't know. I think Florida runs the ball on UCF.
I think that's what Vegas is telling you here, too. They're like, I don't know. 2.5. We'll just throw it at the problem. I know that they've changed their name, but I feel like we should call this game the Golden Gators game because it has the Golden Gators clash.
Well, I held my nose and took Florida at 2.5. Give me Southern Cal to beat up on Minnesota. By the way, so a couple things about Minnesota that makes me angry. First of all, they're getting housed by Michigan last week. My bet on Michigan was the right side. They're dominating the game. And then all of a sudden, a couple of silly mistakes and Minnesota scores. Then Michigan unravels. They have no passing game to speak of. Michigan does. I mean, none. It's like 60 yards. They're out here throwing for 60 yards. I think we're bad, but go watch Michigan's passing game. Anyhow, they do have an elite defense. Minnesota gets all the way back in this game, and probably you could argue should have won it because the refs blew the onside kick call. And if they recover that, I mean, there's certainly a chance they beat Michigan. There were some tightening of the sphincters there at the Big House with the way things were going on late in that game. But I do believe that Minnesota's more of the team that was down 3 scores for much of that game and not the one that had the furious comeback. Give me Southern Cal and lay the 8. I'll lay the 8 there. Tennessee on the road against Arkansas. Listen, Coach Pittman, we love you. We love you. Go ahead, Tommy. Yeah, indeed, Sam. It's not going to end well for you.
Beat Auburn, though.
We're going to take Tennessee and lay 13.5 there. I obviously, heartbreakingly, had to lay Clemson minus 14.5. There's so many angles by which to bet Clemson this week if you wanted totals, first half totals, first half line, the line, money line, all the lines. And I did.
On Dabo.
Boston College plus 1.5. Wrong team's favorite. I'll steal from Lee there and just take BC. Castellanos is back. I'll have Boston College to beat Virginia outright.
Sneaky pick tomorrow or a sneak preview of tomorrow's pick. Is that what you're saying?
Perhaps.
Okay.
Wake Forest plus 5.5 against NC State. I also don't know why NC State's favored. They've been terrible, really across the board. They've just been awful. Do you see where their defensive end he's redshirting. He's opted out the rest of the season. He's like, I'm done. Season's not going the way I wanted it to. I'm going to transfer. I'm going to use the rest of the year as a red shirt. I'm leaving. You know what I thought about that? I thought, well, this sucks. It's not good for the game. B, let's take a closer look at that kid and see if we need to bring him in.
Right. This guy, this is what's wrong with the sport. This guy's clearly going to be a locker room cancer.
Yeah.
Could he help us?
Could we get him on the cheap? Can we get him on the cheap? He's got one more year to play. Let's see. Get him on the cheap maybe a little bit. All right, back to it. Now we jump into the NFL with the other part of these picks. And I went Vikings, as I said before, in London. The Jets struggle against the run. They struggle, period. In certain aspects, teams that have had real balance to their offense, they've had a hard time with. They can't move the ball. I do think Aaron Rodgers looks like he's hurt again. Kind of limping about. The Vikings lead the league in sacks. Don't mind if I do. Minus 2.5. This is a weird game. It's probably screaming, what are you doing, Jeff? But I don't know how the Raiders score against the Broncos defense. You could turn it right around and throw it in my face and say, yeah, and how is Bo Nix going to score against the Raiders? True. Little field position action. I got it less than 3. I'm going to count on a 9-6 Broncos victory this weekend against the Raiders. A little 9-6 this weekend, buddy. Maybe even throw some pizza money on the exact score. 9-6 Broncos.
Kind of feels right.
Panthers getting 4 against the Bears. I don't think either team is very good, obviously, but 4, hey, that's rich. This feels like a Bears win, 23-20. Give me Carolina plus 4, and then Commanders minus 3.5. I can't watch any more of Deshaun. He is so effing bad. It's just impossible to watch him play quarterback. I can't believe they haven't gone to Jameis at this point.
Well, that would be the hedge on your bet right there.
I would lose the bet if they do. I'll lose the bet if they do. They ought to go to Jameis and now and in a hurry. Deshaun can't play. He cannot play. In addition to, perhaps being a racist, rapist. I don't know if he's a racist. A rapist, allegedly. We do know that he likes to roll over while getting a massage. So,
while screaming epithets.
He's a quirky one, that Deshaun. Anyhow, the point would be, I think you got to do better than rolling him out there over and over and over again. But I guess $200+ million of guaranteed money is why they do. But whoo, it's hard to watch. So that's the route I went there. Plus I'm riding Jaden Daniels all the way to the money, baby.
Yeah,
my kid is unreal right now. If I had told you before the start of the season that Sam Darnold and Jaden Daniels would be your leading candidates to win the MVP,
I would have said, well, then the over-under on major injuries to starting quarterbacks is like 8.5, 9.5.
I mean, that's nuts. As we sit here today, you can make a compelling argument that Sam Darnold or Jaden Daniels is the MVP of the league.
Good for Washington. I know
they got a guy.
I know that you've got a friend down in Miami who loves them some Washington football.
She has her entire life.
Yeah, and actually, I clued you in. There's a group here that watches all the Washington
games. And they're also
games
awesome guys
at a nondescript place.
Yeah,
and they're awesome, and they're getting rewarded. I'm sure they're pinching themselves every week. They got you. When you get the guy, you're like, oh my God, we got the guy. It's the way we felt when Jameis.
Oh yeah, the second you see it, you're like, oh, there it is. He sees it.
It hit. Our number hit.
It's crazy, right? I mean, think of Sam Darnold and Jaden Daniels. Like that's who you go to the bank with, right there. Those two guys are trustworthy every Sunday. I know what I'm getting with Sam Darnold and rookie Jaden Daniels. It's nuts. You're right, Lee. It's like I would have told you 3 months ago, I think Florida State's not just going to come off this 13-1 season and repeat. I think they're going to be awful, guys. I think they're going to be one of the worst Power 4 teams in the country. Picture us walking in here saying that after that season. If I had sat in this chair and we started a Jeff Cameron show, I'm like, Tom, I got to tell you, we may not win 2 games next year. I'm really thinking this is a disaster.
That would have made national news. What do they know down there?
What's going on? Jeff, what's happening? Also, Noel, Dad, that is well done. It's hard to watch. Same thing the CCTV guy says when Deshaun Watson comes in to get a massage. Bravo, sir. Best one you've had in a while. That is good. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3. Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A person was struck by a vehicle Wednesday afternoon along West Pensacola Street. The collision happened just before 4 p.m., according to the Tallahassee Online Police Statistics Map. It was labeled as traffic collision with injury on the map and took place near the intersection of Pensacola and Osley Roads. The pedestrian's condition and details of the crash are limited at the moment. At about 5 p.m., a Tallahassee Police Watch commander confirmed the pedestrian was struck by a vehicle, but no further information was disclosed. This is a developing story. This November, Tallahassee residents will vote on 5 changes to the city's charter or constitution. One of the biggest items on the ballot includes potential pay raises for city commissioners. If passed, commissioners would make the same as county commissioners, just under $100,000. Right now, the city commissioners are paid half of the county commissioners, meaning they make about $50,000. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 87. Easterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 73 tonight. Cloudy skies expected. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow. Slight chance of thunderstorms. High temperatures reach up to 84. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently 85.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
There he is. Haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. You two at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
No Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude, I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean,
No. I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Jeff.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
You guys are killing it. That is good. Florida man at Bama. Martha in the graphic looks like the masseuse when Deshaun walks in. Pull Martha up. Less than enthused.
Well, she's Canadian, you see.
Mm-hmm. 59-6, huh? I'm not going there, but it's certainly within the realm of possibility. What we did the report yesterday, you and I did.
Yeah.
What did I pick?
40 to something. 41,
I
14,
think 45.
44.
No, I think I gave us 16.
16, that's right. 45,
45, 16, 44, 16.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I went with a weird score.
Yeah.
That could be just as easily 51-16. Yeah.
It could be. I was ever the optimist, and I went with 31-14 because I could see where
I'll celebrate me some 31-14.
I can see where
that's where we're at.
If the D line gives a damn, I don't think that Clemson offensive line is elite by any stretch.
Nope.
So you could get off the field a few times, and Mike with Brock in the game is going to keep the clock moving. So you could see how you get out of Dodge without the number being atrocious. But that all assumes that we've got people who want to be there and people who want to put some good film out there. That's at this point, that's got to be what the hope is, that you've got a primetime opportunity against a really good, reputationally speaking, program. So this film speaks louder than the Cal film, Josh Farmer. This film speaks louder than the Cal film, Patrick Payton, Daryl Jackson. Here's your chance. If for nothing else, do it for yourself and your own future.
You know, this is an interesting topic. It's a damn sorry one. It's a shame that we're at this place.
Yes, it is.
It's a pitiful discussion to have. And I know that this makes me a get off your lawn guy. And this makes me old, and it makes me the guy that is waving my fist at the clouds and whatever meme you want to use when describing somebody being antiquated, outdated, detached from reality, old, whatever you want to say. I'm sorry, man. I do not understand why you're having to worry about effort. I mean, it's one thing to be bad. I've played on bad teams before, awful teams before, and I've played on really good teams, obviously not at this level. I understand that. But competition is competition. And if you're somebody who throws yourself into a competition that you are actually taking seriously, I'm not talking about ping pong with your 7-year-old son. I'm talking about real competition. I'm talking about you on the weekend when you play with the fellas at the Mediocre Golf Association. That's real competition. Now, you guys make light of yourself. That's why it's called the MGA. But you want to win. You're not there to BS about. You want to beat their head in.
You're right.
Yes, you'd like to win the whole thing.
And I will get in a fist fight if I need to do that.
But the point would be you care enough to care. Like, I'm gonna concentrate. I'm gonna pay attention here. This score matters to me. And that's just a Mediocre Golf Association.
Hey, easy.
The point
that's a serious league.
The point is, if you enter into a competition and you take it seriously, let alone a college football game, I don't understand how it's not like that's a given. That should be a given. I should never have to worry that somebody isn't trying. I've always thought that was absurd. I'll be honest with you. I joke about it. The team that I was on my junior year at Lakewood, we went 2-8 or 2-8. Yeah, 2-8. And that team was terrible. Our 2 wins were barely wins over the worst teams we played, and our losses were sizable. Okay. I can't remember one time ever thinking that anybody I was playing alongside in those games wasn't giving it their absolute all every single day, because we hated losing. Everybody hated losing. It sucks to lose. So you're like, man, I really would not like to lose this Friday. Let's see if we can do something about this. It's just you never stop fighting, because that's what competition is. It's what sports are. I want to curse when I hear that stuff. That's nonsense. I should never have to implore you to give a damn about fighting and competing on every play. It seems to me it is completely standard. This is not an NIL thing, because teams before NIL, you would hear this about all over the country.
Yeah, we had a couple of them in the last 10 years.
Yes. I mean, long before NIL, there were teams that we called into question. Jimbo at the end of his time, go all the way back to the lost decade with Bowden. Some of those teams where you're like, looks like some guys decided to check out. I've never, ever understood it. And that doesn't I'm not trying to say I'm a better competitor than everybody else or I'm better than anybody else. It's just that football is hard. And, man, half-stepping is a good way to, A, get hurt, and, B, you look like a fool. You look like a fool. The video they played last week of Levante David's rookie season, the Bucs are getting the break speed off them by 40 in an NFL football game. That should never happen, ever. Nobody should be ever down by 50 or 45 points in an NFL football game. And the Bucs were. And he snapped. And they had the mic. They were doing a long interview with him about who he is and what his career has been about and all that. And they're like, we found this clip of you losing it your rookie season. And he sounds like he's almost in tears. He's on the sideline after another touchdown. And I don't remember who it was against, maybe Atlanta. And he comes over to the sideline and he whips his helmet up against if
it was Atlanta, that was actually a Thursday night game.
Yeah. And he's livid. Yeah, and he comes over to the sidelines and he slams his helmet down and he's looking at veteran players. He's like, what the hell's wrong with you all? This is embarrassing. What are you doing? Like he could tell that there were guys checking out. And he loses it to the point where coaches have to come over and get a hold of him because it looks like he might fight somebody. Like it may go down. And I watched it. And I'm like, well, kind of explains how my man had a Hall of Fame career. He effing cares and takes it seriously and is professional and is not, just because they're not the better team, you're not going to mail in a rep. We shouldn't be talking about this every Saturday. I swear to God, every week now, this is a conversation. It is pathetic. And if you catch somebody half-stepping, they got to go. They got to go sit their ass. Read Henshaw's comments to Ira on the Henshaw's House piece that's up on Warchant right now. Sorry. He talks about that's the thing he's most disappointed about. Coach, I agree with you. I can't believe we're sitting here talking about effort. They're not a good team. They could give the greatest effort that they've ever played with this Saturday and lose by 4 touchdowns. But I better not be questioning whether or not they're trying.
Here's the problem. The yellow alert is they're far more talented than most of their competition that they've faced to this point in the season. And they're not even close in some of these games. That's the yellow alert. The red alert is situations like the second half against SMU after the ball goes off of Morlock and, SMU scores in a short field. You see it. They're broken. They're broken-spirited. And when you're this bad, when you're 1-4 and you're taking on a team that is likely to smoke you, you have to be on quit watch. I mean, I recall, Willie's one home game against Clemson. He only got one of them. It was a close game after a quarter. It was like 3-3. It was something like that after the first quarter. But by halftime, you had Naquan Murray spiking the helmet onto the concrete as he got kicked out of the game.
Yeah.
Spiking our helmet onto the concrete as you walk into the tunnel.
It's insane. Yeah, I remember it.
Okay. The situation around this Clemson game is similar to that one where you're teetering. And I think I agree with you. It is a BS discussion that it has to be had in the first place, but it's also a legitimate question. I think it's a legitimate question because when you're not living up to your potential before we get to this moment, something's wrong. And it could be the coaches, but it could be investment level from the players. And now you are 1-4, and here they come. And they're pissed, and they have been since they lost to Georgia. I hope they try, but I'm not counting on it.
I can't fathom that you wouldn't try, almost out of pure fear of getting run roughshod over. And again, this is not NIL. This is not. This is something I think bigger than NIL. There's something else wrong. I'm not in that locker room. I don't know what that is. There are plenty of football teams every weekend that aren't very good, whose kids are making NIL money and who compete and who fight and try and are, listen, we were sure, a lot of people were anyhow, that Florida's team, based on social media and some things they had done, liking tweets that said fire their head coach, things like that they would quit, right? I know Mississippi State's terrible, but they went on the road and housed that team. You can't do that if you're not trying. And they've been bad for 4 years in a row. There are lots of examples where you just don't, you have to compete. That is really, really strange to me. And it's a conversation that annoys me beyond reason. I have a hard time understanding the mindset that you have to be in to be out on a field in a game. I'm not talking practice now. There have been some practices where me and anybody else that's ever played the game maybe did not give 100% on a Tuesday.
It sounds like this Tuesday was one of those.
But I'm saying that can happen. It's practice. It's 100 and humid in Florida. It's Tuesday. It's, we're an hour and a half in.
Well, okay.
I can see a rep that is not taking that 100%. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a game, man.
I hear you, and it fires me up too. But you would agree that this is a legitimate question in the air, right?
Yeah, but it's probably the thing that annoys me the most. Like, I have resigned myself to the fact that this is not a good football team. I've resigned myself to the fact that the coaches and the head coach in particular made some mistakes coming into the season, and we are paying a dear price for those mistakes, and this is going to end poorly this year, okay? Well, the jury's out about next year, but for now, we'll just say this year, okay? All these things are accurate statements. There's no denial, no deflection. This is awful, completely unacceptable, etc. But discussing whether or not somebody wants to be out on the field on a game day competing, like, you're not going to try. You can't be out there. I can't have you. I'd start all freshmen if I had to.
Well,
there's no chance.
In some cases, you might have a freshman or two that are the ones that aren't trying.
Well, then get off the field.
They got to be dismissed.
They got to be gone.
Dismissed.
It will ruin your culture.
Right.
The locker room will rot from within if you have kids on the playing field in a game. As a freshman, you're not going to. You got to go.
Yeah.
You got to go.
I agree. I'm just saying that while I hear you, this is a legitimate thing that's happening and a question. And I do think that NIL only adds to the problem. I'm not saying that NIL in and of itself is
not
the problem.
reason for the problem.
No, I think NIL is good. I know people be like, it's the ruination of college.
What you want and what I want is for there to be some unilateral decisions made about how that's regulated and what it. Yes,
and I feel like institutions should run into the arms of unionization so they can cap these things.
Yes,
salaries.
I think it's going to happen. But anyway, go ahead.
The fact that coaches could make $8 million before the players could make a cent is just like ridiculous.
Agreed. But we're not going to relitigate that.
But it's guaranteed. The problem is all of this stuff is guaranteed. There cannot be an inducement. It is the unintended consequence of the NCAA trying to prevent pay for play is that there is no incentive, which means it's essentially a Major League Baseball contract. When you sign it, it's all going to be yours.
Yeah.
Provided you don't leave the program.
But think about this for some of these guys, and I hear people say, well, they got paid, they don't care. Look, man, some of these guys had first, second, and third round grades. You know how much more money you're going to make than the paltry $100,000, $200,000 that you might be getting in NIL right now? If you get signed to an NFL deal, and God forbid you're a first or second rounder, you're a multimillionaire. What the hell are you talking about?
I agree. Kids are stupid. I was too at 19, 20, 21.
It takes 2 seconds to explain that to somebody. And if you have to, it's a damn shame, but come on.
Well, what's the other reason for a lack of consistency in the give a damn department?
Yeah, they're broken down. They're definitely broken, but it can be that something that rears its ugly head in a lot of ways, but it cannot be about whether or not you want to compete.
Yeah. Okay. How about this? Again, I'm not condoning any of it either.
No.
But I'm just asking, I'm probing to see where the line is drawn. Okay, they show up, they play their ass off. It's 10-3 at half. Way to go, defense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then a turnover, short field score. another punt, a score.
Yeah, you're broken. You don't believe.
Do you understand
I don't
condone too
condone,
strong
no.
of a word, but
no,
the SMU thing from last week. I mean, there's a pattern there. They got broken.
The hold on the punt or the face mask on the punt or the Morlock play.
Or the 4th and goal.
We really do get into the nuance of this discussion. And I think that there's a gray area here because I think that it is somewhat human nature to have sort of the broken, slumped shoulder, woe is me pity party that can happen where every week you fight your ass off and at some point one side of the ball is really costing you more than the other. And so you just look over bereft of hope, as I like to say.
I keep putting you in position and you keep failing.
But I don't think that can ever lead. You might see my body language change considerably. But now it's 2nd and 7. I'm playing linebacker. I have an assignment. I've got reads and cues. Hut. I'm not running full speed? Nonsense. That cannot happen. I don't even know how it happens, especially in a violent game like football, where if you don't give as much as you're getting, you'll get hurt.
Well, it's usually at the point of getting they might get there, but then getting the guy to the ground, that requires will.
Yeah, man. I find it all very, very troubling. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Redemption Thursday rolls on. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3. Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Living up to our expectations yet, so I'm going to try to give you something to look forward to. Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. This month, we asked Nissan for a lift on 2 of our best vehicles, and as usual, they answered, so listen to this. 2024 Titan trucks have 0% financing for 60 months, plus each and every Titan on our lot is now marked down $5,000. Plus, Titan has America's best warranty, 5 years or 100,000 miles, bumper to bumper. Or if you're interested in an SUV with $2,000 bonus cash and $1,500 loyalty cash on the Nissan Armada, you can save up to $5,000 on each and every Armada on our lot and get 3.9% financing for 60 months. Or just like last month, we can put you into a brand new Nissan Sentra starting at $420 a month, no money down. Some of the best deals of the year on some of Tallahassee's favorite vehicles. Come see us today at Kraft Nissan. Remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
All the way. 222-7722. AC and electric is what we do. Service, repairs, and installation too. 222-7722. Come Pacific all the way. Come Pacific all the way.
Hurricane season is here, and now is the time to make a move to keep your home comfortable, even if the power gets knocked out, with a home backup generator. Parker Services is proud to announce that they now sell and install whole home generators, and with financing options, they can be surprisingly affordable. Never worry about the loss of power again. Invest in your family's peace of mind with a home generator from Parker Services. Give them a call today for a free quote.
Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Crescent, Tallahassee. Your Sports Flash update on Real Talk 93.3 brought to you by Fulmar's Pawn, Gun and Gold. More than you might expect with 2 great locations in Tallahassee.
Jacksonville Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson does not believe that he has lost the locker room, despite the fact that the team is 0-4. He was asked that question very bluntly in his Wednesday press conference, and he very much pushed back on that notion. The Jaguars are getting set to play host to the Colts coming up on Sunday. Football tonight, the Buccaneers are in action as they match up against the Atlanta Falcons. Head coach Todd Bowles saying the team has ruled out 5 players: right tackle Luke Gedeke, safety Antoine Winfield Jr., defensive tackle Kalijah Clancy, wide receiver Jalen McMillan, and wide receiver Trey Palmer are all expected to miss the game for various reasons. This Sports Flash is brought to you by Fulmar's Pawn, Gun, and Gold. More than you might expect with 2 great locations in Tallahassee. I'm Matt Pauley on Real Talk 93.3.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQL.
ZQL, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQL nights. Explore our products at ZQL.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or diabetes, you're at higher risk of being hospitalized from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Spun.
I'm Kimmy Hogan with Basic Brooks Law Offices, and we believe you. Now, what does that mean? Over and over, we hear from the people that we represent that when they shared their story of how they were injured, either law enforcement, insurance companies, or business owners didn't believe their story. That's why you need an attorney who has your back, no matter what. An attorney who starts by believing you're telling the truth. We are Basic Brooks, and we believe you. Let's talk. 850-777-7777.
Don't miss TSC Tuesdays every Tuesday morning at 7:30 a.m. during the Greg Tish Show. Find out what's happening at Tallahassee State College every Tuesday at 7:30 a.m. on Real Talk 93.3 FM.
Games for Less, Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used games, as well as new and used consoles like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Atari 2600, PS4, and PS5. You name it. Locally owned and operated since 1994, trade-ins are not only welcome, but Games for Less pays more for your trade-ins than the big chain stores. That's not all. Games for Less now buys and sells new and used vinyl records to boot. George loves the Beatles, by the way. Reserve all the new releases today at Games for Less, conveniently located in the Walmart Supercenter Plaza on Appalachian Parkway. Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Real Talk fact number 44. Burns 150 calories. This is Real Talk 93.3, Tallahassee's Real Talk station. Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
the fans of the fan base as a whole at Florida State is sort of at various levels of grief. When you come out the other side and you kind of get to acceptance, it doesn't mean you want that to be something that continues over the long haul, but it's something that you have accepted is going to continue for the time being. It gets a little bit easier, but if you're not there yet, I understand. I've seen the angry, furious. Tom's still in anger. He's still in anger mode.
Really?
Well, you're pretty angry. I can see it.
When?
Every now and then you say things. You're angry. Your post games have been a little bit more angry lately. They haven't been. Let's everybody settle in and have a rational conversation. It's that you're pissed off.
Hey man, SMU was resigned. The SMU one was okay. Well, it's broken. But I have been angry at times.
Yeah. You haven't made it all the way through that stage yet, is what I'm saying. You haven't come on over into acceptance yet.
It's an interesting interpretation. Maybe.
I think you're angry.
Okay.
A very angry man.
Look at me. I'm furious.
I'm calmer than you are.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm just letting you know. I can see these things play out and just be like, more data points, more evidence of what I thought they were.
Strong with you, the anger.
It's been tough. It's been really tough. It's also tough when you go through and you look at all the numbers. You're like, all right, so yards per play, EPA per play, success rate, average yards. We're 120th, 123rd, 119th, 113th, 99. Oh, 99th, top 100. Ooh.
Well,
it gets tough.
Okay, so what does make me angry is the aptitude level of the opponents.
Yeah, we're getting beat by teams that aren't great.
Okay, tonight the Bucks and the Falcons are playing, and everybody agrees that those are two pretty good teams in the NFC. And we could be fan bases on either side of the spectrum, right? In terms of it's feisty enough. We've been in the South for 20 years now. If either one of those teams and fan bases watch Jacksonville come to town and lay it on them,
oh, you'd be angry.
You'd be quality of the competition. These guys are terrible. You're kidding me. So we're gonna lay an egg and they're gonna beat us by 17. Like it's that energy. That is frustrating.
Think about this, man. Trevor's lost 9 straight times. I know quarterback wins are not a thing.
9 is
we're starting to get into a category where you're like, really? So the one time in the last 10 that they won, he wasn't the quarterback. That's a toughie. I mean, that is a toughie. So I don't know. This is tough to take, is what I'm saying. Angry, frustration, it's all there. I can't spin it. There's no spinning it. Don't want to spin it. Just look at other games. Just start looking around at the other games.
All right, you make a good point. Another thing that makes me angry is that the head coach had moved on to the acceptance phase.
Hadn't.
I'm hoping he has now, but
because it will dictate what he does with personnel.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Let's let those guys who can help us in the future have a little bit more of the now. We're spinning our wheels.
I think they are though. This week, let's do this real quick.
His hand might be forced into it, but okay, we'll take it however we can get it.
This week has been a week where if you're gauging the mood, if you're gauging where the program's at, we know they're bad. But the evidence on the field tells you everything you need to know. They're bad. But if you were looking for signs that maybe, just maybe, Mike has had it with certain veteran players and maybe some young players, whatever it might be, if you wanted to see evidence that he is about to make some serious changes to this roster, this was the week where you got a glimpse. The comments in his media availabilities seem to suggest that he's come around to shaking up the starters, playing time in general, just shaking things up. I think he's starting to see okay, because this is the other thing. If you and I and anybody else that cares and is engaged can see what it was we were just discussing at the end of last hour, guys taking plays off, loafing, not playing with great energy or technique.
They'll arrive at the point of contact, but they might go for a ride for a couple extra yards.
Not real sure they want to get anybody to the ground.
Right.
If you got guys catching blocks, not fighting like hell to get offset blocks, not competing, not competing.
Doing the helicopter arms.
Oh, it's just yeah. So, if you see that, if you and I see it, watching a TV copy camera angle, what do you think they see when they get the coaches film, when they get the all 22s, where it's much easier to see exactly what happened on any given play? When you look at the all 22s, you can freeze it and look very specifically about why this happened, why that happened, who was where they were supposed to be, who wasn't, who's half-stepping, who's being a bitch at the point of attack, who's decided they still want to play football down 20. You can see all of it.
Yeah, there was a film session last year with Dominic. It was after Virginia Tech. And he's trying to break down the Virginia Tech film, but he discovers something along the way of watching our offense. And it was, I forget the number for Tech. The linebacker might be 12. He's like, look at this. See, 12 doesn't want to be there. See, 12 doesn't care to be there. And he just remarks on that, talks about the Benson run.
Yeah.
The next thing is, oh, the 12 again. I guess he just doesn't want to play football today. Okay, it's fair. So we know what he's going to do, which is nothing because he doesn't care to be there.
Yeah.
But that is by accident. Now, these coaches are scouring the self-scout.
Scouring. They're
all
looking
over it.
Yes, and because, first of all, you have meetings with those coaches. Each segment group has to go sit down and go over that game film. You are, if you're an offensive lineman, sitting with Alex Atkins. He is going play by play. All right? This is your grade for this play. Here's why. I mean, there's really no getting around it. You can't hide. You cannot hide. Watching game film, people who have been involved in football that have ever been in the room to have to watch game film with coaches can be exhilarating when you've played well. You can't wait to walk into that room. Oh, we're about to watch some game film. I know I was whooping some ass. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but man, did I whoop some ass. Light it up, coach. Let's go. Let's get into watching me whoop that ass every play. And then there's it was a poor angle.
Hope he didn't spot 2nd and 8 on the second drive.
Yeah, there's the, man, I can't believe I did that. That's not my assignment. That's poor effort.
It was the backside of the play, so maybe he won't notice.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, and they always notice. They freeze it. Cameron, care to explain yourself? What are we doing here? What's our assignment when we're, and then you're stuck. There's no, and you can say, well, and you'll tell him what it is. And then he's going to ask rightfully, well, why didn't you do that? Most of the time you can just say, at a lapse. I thought it was something else. I read it wrong. I did it wrong. And, it's because I didn't realize that we were da-da-da. Those kinds of mistakes are a little bit different than effort. Like if there's no effort, there's no explaining that away. That is the stuff that gets you benched. You're not trying. Hey, you may have gotten this wrong, but you did it full speed. Appreciate you. Let's try to get it right next time. Then we move on. That's not the same thing. If you pull that up and dude's half-stepping, you got to go.
AKA loafs, as they're known. Yeah.
One too many loafs leads to a permanent spot on the bench.
Look, man, that was a concern coming out of Memphis. That was something they talked about the Monday after Memphis. They were asked about consistency of effort. I know Adam Fuller was specifically asked about that because there was one play in question between Knowles and a certain defensive lineman, and there was more than that. But it's not like the SMU second half is the genesis of this discussion that we're concerned about.
No, not at all.
There's a lot of that you can draw back on, which, what the hell? How do you get there? I never got a sense from the camp practices I saw that this was going to be a group who loafed. They checked in and they went to work.
Well, Mike lauded them for that. This is the other thing. Mike lauded them for their effort, for their off-season workouts, conditioning, right? We heard all of this. You recall that? So we knew that. He talked about that was an aspect that, like, you don't have to bring that up if it's not something that stands out to you. You don't have to bring it up. It's not something you're going to draw attention to if you didn't actually think that they were working really hard in the offseason. You'd talk about some other aspect of your team. You wouldn't really welcome that into the conversation. So, yes, you didn't expect this. No, you absolutely are surprised because that wasn't the way he described them or the way that he thought that they were. Losing begets losing. Lots of things spiral out of control. Things in preseason are not the same. Right. It changes all of it. I understand that. I think that speaks to a psyche and a mindset and a woe is me type of self-pitying, but it should not apply to effort.
So they really were ready for that first drive of the season, though. I mean, that was a hell of a drive.
They weren't ready defensively.
No.
Georgia Tech's like, well done, Florida State. Allow me to retort.
Yeah, and that they did. That first play from scrimmage was an oh-no. That first play.
Yes.
The whole D-line got uprooted.
Well, they were busy watching the eye candy. They were all looking at the motion.
They're 4 and 5
I'm
yards
like,
blown off the ball.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
That reminded me of the 14 Rose Bowl against Oregon. Our offensive line was doing that all day. Just we never held on to the football.
Yeah. Helps when you do.
Makes a difference.
You know, you and I didn't get a chance to bring it up, but since he's one of our all-time favorites, and it does allow us to smile and reflect and think about what he meant, Anquan Bolden inducted into the Florida State Athletics Hall of Fame, as we know, this past month. He took part in a Sod Talk interview with Corey Simon to look back at his career at FSU, his time in the NFL, and obviously what an amazing philanthropist he's been as well. And, you know, he talked about how he got to Florida State in 99 as a quarterback and all those things. I'd invite you to go do all of that for you, for yourself. But to remind us all of what that kind of effort looks like, toughness looks like, physicality looks like, mindset sounds like, it's nice. It's nice. That is one of the problems that any FSU team has. And that's true too, by the way, I might add, if you're a Miami player or if you're a Florida player, if you're a player at Bama, currently Georgia, wherever, if you're at one of these schools that has very real cachet, has multiple national championships and then some, has had tons of All-Americans, college football Hall of Famers, you know, let alone your university's Hall of Fame, all of those things, guys that were prolific in the NFL, you know what it looks like. You know what it is. You know what that means. When you're not that, when you're struggling like this current group is, or you're obviously nowhere close to being in the realm of that player or that group that's being discussed, the fan base is comparing and contrasting something very tangible, something that was awesome, something that Florida State just won the national title in 2013. They went undefeated in the regular season in 2014 and made the first ever college football playoff. They just last year went 13-0 in the regular season and the conference championship. They lose the bowl game to Georgia. Fine, however you want to look at it. If you want to throw that one in there, fine, do it. 13-1. You're being compared to a great season one season ago and all-time great teams from just 10 years ago. It's not like you're looking back to 1972. Oh, the echoes. You know, no, that's not what we're doing here. And I understand that Florida State in the 2000s has not been as consistent as we would all like this program to be over the course of a decade or two. There have been lots of ups and downs in the 2000s. When the team is good, they've been really good to the tune of winning a national title, winning a conference championship, having an undefeated regular season, whatever it might be. When they've been bad, it's not like it was in the 90s and into the early 2000s where a bad year is 10-2, you know, or a bad year is 9-3. No, they've been like, oh man, what's going on here? And this feels like the crescendo of the bad. Like this is going to be uglier than anything we saw. This feels like it has the makings of a 2-10 season, a 3-9 season. And it is hard to imagine it because even when they've been bad, they've usually hovered somewhere in the neighborhood of a 5-win season or a 6-win season. They haven't been out here trying to win 2 games. And this is even tougher to stomach because it is on the heels of I almost cursed. Now I'm getting angry again. It is.
Yeah, see, I think you're projecting. I think you're the one who's not gotten past the anger phase.
No, I'm in shock. I'm in shock. It is on the heels of having wrangled back the conference from the rest of these bums.
Look at how mad you are. Look at how mad you are.
I'm mad.
What makes you mad is that we're allowing Miami to take the throne in the state.
Well, we've ceded the state to them.
Yep.
Just gave it to them. To their credit, they went out and got some good players. He's done a good job of recruiting. They capped it off with the cherry on top with the quarterback. They have to have this good season. As I said, he was 12-13 coming into the season. Needed to have it, and it looks like they're having it. Now, we'll see. Maybe they can win a conference championship for the first time ever. Maybe. Looks like they certainly have a path to it. Don't we think at this point this is Clemson and Miami playing in the ACC championship game? Without question.
Prohibitive favorites.
Not even close, right? I mean, who the hell else is Louisville?
Louisville is the only outside. Yeah, it ain't anybody else. And that's an interesting game. Sadly.
I'll just tell you that there's the reason that you're concerned is Florida is in the back alley asleep next to the dumpster. Once again, they have relapsed, smoking crack.
Yeah.
Friends can't get them on their feet. So you don't have to worry about Florida coming in and trying to buy that same house that you were buying. You were looking at Miami. You've owned them as of late. They've never won a conference championship. So you're kind of like, well, looks like they're getting better under Cristobal, but they're still not where we're at. We just went undefeated, beat them again, and won the ACC. We're all right. Now let's go ahead and step on the necks. Let's go ahead and distance ourselves from those that would seek to compete at the highest levels in the state. Let's distance ourselves from the rudderless Gus Malzahn program at UCF. Let's distance ourselves from Florida, who's about to fire another coach after their fourth consecutive losing season. Let's distance ourselves from Miami, who's never quite gotten it right in the 2000s. So let's just, let's continue to make sure that this disparate look of these programs is obvious to all, right? And out of nowhere, you fall on your face and you're joining Florida in the back alley, and Miami's in the limo. My man, that's not what you do. That's not what you do. And it's stunning to watch play out. It adds to, obviously, Florida State fans' frustration and anger. Mike's got a lot to overcome. It's more than the sum of these losses and the way that they look. It's the bigger picture concerns about what does it mean.
It always is worse when one of your rivals is good when you're bad. Always. When we were going through the transition between Coach Ham 1.0 and 2.0, it did not help matters at all that Larinaga had it rolling in his first go of it. Now, they've had a second run, but that first run, they were hosting game day or they were, they had the 8:00 game against Duke on the road, and it was a big moment. Win their conference. I believe they won the tournament plus the regular season as we're reeling, absolutely reeling.
Yeah.
And it made those segments, the reaction to those segments about FSU basketball, more reacted to. Like there was more fan interaction.
Yeah.
There was more mail that came in. There were more phone calls that came in because Miami was good and they were putting the pressure on us. And when the opponent is good, if Miami was what they are, a fraud, every year, but maybe one the last 20 years, 23 years, it wouldn't feel as bad. But you're watching them.
Oh, you're
checking
watching
in
them
on them,
yeah.
and you watch them escape the Virginia Tech game. You're like, that only increases the urgency that you feel about getting things right here.
Yeah, no, I've accepted. Look, this is a grand male soap opera, these football seasons that we are engaged in. And there is the ups and downs of the plot twists and all the things that happen at any given year, right? And so when you're on top, you love it. When you're the lead and you're rolling, you love it. It's great. You understand, especially if you've been around a long time, and I have, that at some point things are going to shift. I knew when Urban Meyer was ruling the day at Florida and kicking ass and taking names that at some point that too would pass. We just watched what happened at Alabama. Now, we'll see if DeBoer is able to sustain this all-time great level of play that Nick Saban did. Seems highly unlikely. Statistically speaking, seems almost impossible, right? Nick was the greatest coach you could argue of all time. So it seems fair to say they will not sustain that. DeBoer's a very good coach, and they're a great program, tons of money poured into it, recruit extremely well, so they're not going away. But over time, we're going to see just a slight drop-off. This is what happens. Things are cyclical. I assumed that at some point things would fall off for Florida and Urban Meyer. They did. Jimbo got us back on our feet, worked out, won a national championship. We were disappointed, and I think what we're disappointed with right now is how do we continue to find ourselves in these situations, even on the heels of such great success? Because then you get into chipping away at the systemic stuff. Like, you're starting to ask, like, the floor at Florida State should be 8-4. The floor at a place like this, with the advantages you have in recruiting and investment.
You had the bowl streak intact for all those bad years in the lost decade when I was in school.
Right.
You're going to go to a bowl.
Yeah, your floor should be 8-4, 9-3. I guess an injury-riddled 7-5 could sneak in there every once in a great while. Or if it happens to be a year where the schedule has 2 non-conference games, like against Florida and, say, Alabama or something like that, and then it happens to also be a year where Clemson's elite and Miami is good, then you're like, oh, well, you can lose 4 or 5 games next year if you don't play well, especially if 3 of those are on the road. There were every now and then those moments. But for the most part, you look at it, you say the floor should be 8-4 at a program like this. You have so many built-in advantages. I believe that's true of Florida. I believe that's true to some degree of Miami. I mean, I feel like your floor should be, with the talent-rich state that we're in, the region of the country that we're in, the cachet that these programs I'm talking about have. If you look at the landscape of the sport in the last 50 years, all of those programs in the state, Florida, and Miami, have had their share time at the top and have been elite and have won national championships, plural, and should never really find themselves in some extended period of just horrific play. So when it happens, you get frustrated. That's not what should be, but you also begin to get concerned about something greater, because lately for Florida State, these moments of great play, these moments of excellence, these moments of when you're operating close to peak efficiency seem to be short-lived.
What's the outlier in the last 15 years?
Right. The outlier is the 29 straight and the 19 straight.
Yeah.
You're grateful those things happened, and it's a snapshot of what can happen if you do have it humming. Because I've said before, you could have it humming at Wyoming, and you cannot play for a national title. You could have it humming at Minnesota. You're not playing for a national title. You could have it humming at any number of schools, even Power 4 schools, and you're not going to have what it takes to win a national championship. There's just, you won't have enough good players because you're not one of those programs. You're not a blue blood. You're not one of those programs. But when you've got it humming here, or you got it humming at Florida, I hate to say it, and we'll see with Mario, but if you have it humming at Miami, we know history says you can win national titles. There's just no excuse to, it's one thing not to have it rolling. It's a whole nother to be out here wandering in the dark, rolling up on some 3-9.
Sucking wind.
It's a nice way of putting it.
It's for radio.
Yeah. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Surprising flavors, cultural authenticity, and unique adventures are some of the main ingredients that go into every single plate served at Café de Martín, Tallahassee's best Peruvian dining experience. Led by classically trained Chef Martín, passion for culture, passion for flavor, and a passion for people can be felt from the moment you step inside. Café de Martín also offers an unparalleled outdoor dining experience in the garden. Surrounded by vibrant flowers and plants, and nestled between carefully curated decor, the shaded and breezy outdoor garden features elegant live music regularly, and the romantic evening lighting makes Café de Martín the best place to share conversation and connect with the ones you love. Every dish is made from scratch, and every drink is handmade by trained bartenders, offering the very best margaritas and old fashions in the city. Take a trip to a Peruvian paradise right here in the capital city. Visit Café de Martín and El Bar on Capitol Circle Northeast in the Esposito Shopping Center. Open daily for lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Find the full menu online at cafedemartin.com.
This is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Sellers, are you stuck between wanting to sell your home and waiting for rates to fall? Are you worried about the contingency of having to sell your home? What if you didn't have to? With a 2-1 rate buy down, you can lock in a lower interest rate for the first 2 years of your mortgage and get the home you want now, all while having a higher chance to buy that next home with the contingency of selling yours. If you wait for rates to fall, You risk more competition, sellers less likely to wait, and paying more for that next property. If you're stuck, we need to talk. Give me a call at 954-369-6171. Again, this is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. That's 954-369-6171. And don't forget, for every loan we close for our fellow Noles, I will personally donate $250 to the Battle's End.
Equal housing rent. NMLS number 373031.
We're all going through our own fitness journey. We want to get the most out of our time in the gym or with a trainer. We want to eat the right things and do the right things to be in the best shape possible. Why not find out exactly where you're at in that journey by getting a DEXA scan today? It's the most accurate measurement of all body composition methods. It is the gold standard in what is used in clinical diagnosis, the only method that can determine bone density and give a direct measurement of visceral fat. You can do so and save a bunch of money. That's why I'm here, guys. Use Jeff25 as a discount code for 25% off any of the services at DexaFit. It's not just a DEXA scan. They have red light therapy that helps accelerate wound healing, pain relief, muscle recovery, improve circulation, skin health. They'll also give you tips on personalized nutrition with weight management, fitness optimization. These are all things that you want to do to help correct imbalances. Go see our friends at DexaFit and save right now. Use code Jeff25. Discount code Jeff25 for 25% off any services at DexaFit.
Searching for the best place to host an event for your friends and family? The Golf Club at Summerbrook is more than just a place for a round of golf. It's also one of the best choices for hosting and celebrating the most special days in your life. From rehearsal dinners and baby showers to corporate banquets and kids' birthday parties, you'll receive amazing personal service and attention to every detail when you choose the Golf Club at Summerbrook. Find out how affordable it can be and call us today at 850-894-GOLF. That's 850-894-GOLF.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Definitely ready for it to be a Libations Friday. All of this talk is ready for me to see a cold one. I'm ready for Friday at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. 5 to 6, I'll be there. I think some of the rest of the gang will be there a little bit longer. I got to skedaddle, make my way to watch some more high school football as Leon's playing out of town in Georgia.
All right.
Off I go.
What part?
I think they're playing in Cairo.
Okay, that's not too bad.
It'll be an ass kicking.
Oh, will it? Okay.
I think so. I think Cairo's good. I don't, you know me. I don't delve deep into the high school rankings. But I'll be there.
Frankly, you know more than I thought you would.
Well, yeah. I mean, the son's a starter, so I'm going to watch him. I'm going to be there. Had another couple catches the other night, so we'll see. Hey, you know what I have done, Tom? I've done the thing where I've started to project like, okay, next year he could be. Yeah, it's he's got to put on some size. He's too small, but passes.
Well, you got to buy him some food to eat.
Oh, it's all I do. It is all I do. My goodness gracious. Food. It is a marvel. My parents used to say it. Your parents said it. Every parent everywhere that's ever had to feed you has said this before, that they think you have a bottomless pit for a stomach, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
I will load up the fridge. We get Factors. We've got all this food in there, and I'll open it up 2 days after that box of Factors come in, after I've made something on the grill, after my wife's made something, whatever it is, and we'll open the refrigerator. I'm like, where the hell's all the food? It was teeming with food. I didn't know where to put all of the food, and now it's just gone.
Well, I mean, it's because your boys are relatively active, too, especially compared to their generation. They're very active, but we were always doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm maybe part of that last wave, and it might have been because we didn't quite have broadband internet yet.
Yeah.
So you had dial-up.
You had things you had to go do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I was always outside, always on the move. Cardio, what's that? I don't know, but I do know that I was on hockey skates for 3 hours today. So yeah, I'm hungry.
I drove past the house I grew up in, and I had the kids there, and they had removed the hoop from the driveway, which kind of broke my heart because I know exactly where it was. And I used to, because I'm old, I used to have a boom box, silver. I'd bring it out, set it up on the back of the back bumper of my mom's car, open up the garage, and I had, whatever, tapes or the radio, and I would listen for hours at a time. And I would stand out there and shoot until some of the neighborhood kids would drive by and they'd look over like, hey, and they'd come up and they'd start shooting. Next thing you know, we'd play 3 hours of basketball, 4 hours of basketball, to the point where my mom would have to come out and tell everybody to go home because it was time for me to come in, shower, eat, do homework, go to bed. That's all you did?
And that's music to her ears that she would have to do that because he's got stuff to do.
Everybody does.
Get out of the house. Get out of the house and go do something, please, so I can take care of what I need to take care of.
It was a glorious thing. Did you see this? I'm going to take a right-hand turn. Normally reserve this for the third hour, but I did think that given we're in the postseason and Braves are swept, they're out of there. It's Dodgers-Padres. You got your big matchup tonight with the Brewers.
Yeah, we'll see.
What was your mindset like with the 3 run-ins in the 8th last night? Were you thinking you were going to close it out?
Before they happened?
Yeah.
I thought the 8th inning was the key. You can check my Twitter. I tweeted because ESPN's broadcast is so bad. It's so bad. And I know Boog has a great reputation, but he's mailing it in. He's terrible this series. He didn't want to be there.
That's really strange because he's great.
He is, but he didn't want to be there.
Well, nobody's as bad as Michael Kay.
I'm glad we don't have him.
By the way, he doesn't even know the Tigers players. Listen to him talk. He'll be like, and he scores. You're like, who? Yeah.
Glanville doesn't have a personality either, but there's a ground ball to third base. This is Milwaukee making a play, not the Mets. I forget the guy's name. I think it's Ortiz because he's going to be their shortstop next year. That they keep talking about that. He makes an unbelievable 360 stop. I mean, he goes to the ground, he spins, he makes a throw, and the call from Boog was ground ball Ortiz. And that's it. The next word is 15 seconds later from Glanville.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, so they didn't give bullpen information is the reason I bring that up. So I tweeted the beat reporter from The Athletic, Tim Britton, who I think does a wonderful job. And I said, hey, Tim, anybody warming for the 8th? ESPN didn't exactly telling us. And he said, Phil Maton. And I said, okay. So the 8th inning is going to be the one. And it was.
So something to point out here, but with the Tigers knocking off the Astros, that ended the 7 consecutive ALCS stretch for the Astros. You realize that? The Astros had been to 7 consecutive ALCSs. Odd for baseball. You could be the best team in the world. That doesn't happen. That is a run for the ages.
The last time they didn't make the ALCS, our quarterback situation was Everett Golson and Sean McGuire.
Oh, Sean McGuire needs our help. Brock needs our help. Andy Ibanez, you beautiful son of a bitch with that bases clearing double. He was hitting like a cool 1-something in the last 2 months of the season. Tigers, Guardians next, 3 of the final 4 from the AL Central. That was a division that was ridiculed all year long. They're like, get you somewhere great over here. That makes up the 3 of the 4. Obviously, the Yankees have something to say about it. Now you have pitching versus power. That's fun. Kansas City can really pitch, and obviously the Yankees can really hit. So that is a fun series. Just like Dodgers-Padres is a fun series, and frankly, Mets-Phillies would be awesome.
You would have some excellent baseball.
You'd have
across
firepower,
time zones.
Firepower.
Let's give the league office what they want.
Well, here's what I was bringing up. This is a sports story that I find interesting, and we've dabbled in this discussion over the years. So for those of you out there, you guys know who Diamond Sports Group is. You do.
Oh, it's Bally. Yeah,
that's right. So it's Bally's. 12 teams that they broadcast, they just decided to give back the rights to. 11 of the 12 they don't want. They basically said, we want the Braves. We'll continue to broadcast the Braves. And you other 11 that we have the rights to, take it on down the road. We don't want you. You can have your rights back. Good luck to you. You can sell whatever you can do, but you can have the rights back. So they told, like the Cardinals are in that group. Obviously the Marlins and the Rays.
Our guy Dwayne Stats
are in.
The Double Rays.
Is Charlie Slows anywhere around?
He was out in the West Coast,
Was he, Charlie?
I feel like he might be part of the Mariners radio team.
He's the one who famously said, grabs the wood, wags it around. You're like, okay. Talking about a guy stepping into the batter's box. You're like, holds the wood, shakes it around.
Charlie Slows.
He's dead.
No.
Oh, I just thought I'd say that.
Oh, okay. Well, usually you're right, so I double checked.
Is he dead?
No. Nationals.
I like
radio.
scaring you.
Ever since Michael Clark Duncan.
He's dead. No.
It'll never be the same.
You don't say.
Yeah.
So Rays and Marlins no longer have a home, all that good stuff, right?
At least Christopher Plummer's still kicking.
Major League Baseball. So you have a unique set of circumstances. Obviously, you have these power networks like the Yes Network, Nesson, Yes broadcasting the Yankees, and Nesson the Red Sox, and, Time Warner, the Dodgers, and, WGN, the Cubs. So you have those, right? Those are going to be in place. But then there's a large contingent of baseball teams that, as of yesterday, just found out that Bowie's is like, no, we're not going to do it. So one team that was affected just a year ago when something like this happened was the Twins. They had $30 million plus less than they had the year before because of their network parting ways. All right, so the thought is that Major League Baseball will gobble up the 11 teams, and they've wanted to do that. They want all the teams under their umbrella. Part of me wants it to happen because I would argue whatever you do, you got to end all these absurd blackouts. You got to stop with the nonsense.
That's what they intend to do, but there's always a price for everything. So what Major League Baseball would do is lift local blackouts, but the costs of MLB TV would skyrocket.
Fine.
Or they would give you an option of one team.
Yeah, you buy your team.
Right. Which is what you can do for, like, the Mets right now. They have their own television network, SNY. MSG does this up there. I've got a lot of experience with this because I was crunching the numbers to get the Rangers games, to get the Mets games when I was up there. And MSG, I believe, is $25 a month. A month for one television network. So
MSG is?
Yes. And I think SNY was $20 and Yes Network is around the same. So that is what the market is dictating. So you could have, I believe Bally Sports Florida even has, I think it's $15-20 a month. If you wanted to get Lightning games, which I'm having to think about.
But what you would get is you get the Lightning, the Marlins, the
you get them all.
Rays, you get everybody. Yes. You get all,
Now, I don't
Panthers.
know. And obviously they're out for baseball. I guess they dropped hockey too. I wonder.
I didn't look that up.
That's the reigning Stanley Cup champion and the 3-time Stanley Cup champion.
Yeah. No, I have no idea if they did or didn't. It'd be kind of cool if they did, though.
Where they gave them up?
Yeah, I'd like it if they gave them up because then I bet you we could find a way to get them cheaper.
I would like that because I'm looking at having to spend a lot of money to watch the Lightning, which is just dumb. That is the
really
limitation of the
stupid.
YouTube TV. They don't have those RSNs.
Well, when I saw the baseball story, I thought, oh, okay, this is going to be fascinating to see what ends up happening. We've talked about the bubble and the size of those contracts and all that good stuff. Some teams will benefit, some teams will suffer greatly by this move.
Maybe Tom Block can talk to his people with Sunshine Network and bring back the good old days.
Man, those were the good old days.
The Lightning were on Sunshine Network. It was awesome.
Well, so was college baseball every day of the week when it used to be the best thing to be able to come home and know that if the Noles were on the road, Sunshine would have it, or that I could watch Florida and Miami play as well. I could catch all these college baseball games. Really anything to do with the three teams, the big three in the state, it was going to be on Sunshine.
Is Barry somebody?
Milligan.
Barry Milligan. That's
Barry
Milligan. That's
yeah.
right.
So let me explain to you. By the way, you're impressed, right? You're impressed that
you should be impressed that I remember Barry Milligan.
Well, I used to drink with Barry Milligan and Tom Block.
I used to watch him as a 9-year-old because I was a freak for sports.
Tom wouldn't mind me bringing this up. When I first broke into the business, here we go. Here's Uncle Jeff telling stories. When I first broke into the business 27 years ago,
beer was a nickel.
Dip was $1. But you could go. Well, I did go. Not just that you could. I did go up to Halligan's. And I'd go up to Halligan's, which is no longer a bar in town, but was a great bar in town. And I had an apartment complex that I lived in that was right behind Halligan's. So it made it very easy to meander over to Halligan's most nights. Anyhow, I would wait till late because I was young. And you didn't really go out before 11 o'clock if you were young, right? You waited. But Tom and Barry were in the Sunshine Studios, which are across the street from that Halligan's. And they would do basically the version of SportsCenter for the state on Sunshine Network. And when they got done, they'd walk across the street over to Halligan's because they just finished work. And they'd have a cold one or two. And I was green and didn't know anybody and was just trying to fit in and figure out the business. And I met Tom and I met Barry, and they were both awesome to me. They were great to me. And so that's kind of how I got to know them, was through cold beers at Halligan's after their Sunshine Network broadcasts. They'd still be in their suits and they'd come over and sit down, and there'd be the three of us. And Barry's been around and seen some things. And Tom is very, very good at what he does. And so we just got to be friends, and I got to learn more and more about what they did. And they got more and more accepting over the years of what I did. And that's what it was. It was darts, beer. Rest in peace, Buddy, who was the bartender and passed away, I think 5-6 years ago now. Maybe more than that.
I think it's a little longer now.
Has it really been like 7 years?
Yeah.
Tragic car accident. Anyhow, he was great, and he would see us come walking through the door and laugh. Matt Millar, who was my producer, would come join us up there some days, and good times. It was bygone era. But Sunshine Network was a part of that era, and getting to know those guys and learning the ropes and kind of getting introduced to other people in the business because of it that would meet them up there occasionally, and then seeing them out and about at FSU games. Like I'd go to, obviously, for a while I did PA for FSU baseball, and I'd go over there, and then there was the pregame show that I did with the late, great Monk Bonasort, who's passed away as well. Damn it, man. Everybody I'm referring to is dead.
Just wait till you're 60.
Yeah, well, that was statewide. And I remember thinking that I was king of the world being a statewide pregame show for Florida State until I started ripping Jimmy Higgins. And Monk's like, you can't do that. It's the network. We're working for them. It's the network. I agree with you, but you can't say those things. And I'm sorry. And then I got the call. We're good. We're good. You do you in the afternoons, buddy. You don't need to be ripping us across the state. And Peter Tom Willis called me and said, ironically, it was going to happen to Peter not long later. It's Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
FEMA has announced new counties eligible for assistance after Hurricane Helene. Homeowners and renters in Columbia, Gilchrist, Hamilton, Leon, and Suwannee counties who had uninsured damage or loss caused by Hurricane Helene can apply for FEMA disaster assistance. This is in addition to the previously listed Charlotte, Citrus, Dixie, Franklin, Hernando, Hillsborough, Jefferson, Lafayette, Lee, Levi, Madison, Manatee, Pasco, Pinellas, Sarasota, Taylor, and Wakulla counties. FEMA may be able to help with serious needs, displacement, temporary lodging, basic home repair costs, personal property loss, or other disaster-caused needs. If you applied to FEMA after Hurricane Debbie and have additional damage from Hurricane Helene, you'll need to apply separately for Helene and to provide the dates of your most recent damage. Apply for either storm online at disasterassistance.gov. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Frobley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 87. Easterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 73 tonight. Cloudy skies expected. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow. Slight chance of thunderstorms. High temperatures reach up to 84. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently 85.
Time to head out on our annual guys fishing trip. Wait, where's Jimmy?
He just texted me saying he has to swing by his storage unit to get a couple of things.
And now there's a truck blocking him in, and he won't be here for another hour.
That wouldn't have happened if he had just called Southeast Portable Buildings and got a unit right on his property.
I love mine. I have so much more space in my garage. Now I can finally park my truck in there.
Give them a call today, 850-580-6400. That's 850-580-6400, or visit them online for all their options at southeastportablebuildings.com.
There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So like different, breeds, like different kinds.
There's like, families. There's different families. And,
so there's if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch.
Or the Yeti. Right.
Yep,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape. And
never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
You got a feeling that Brock is going to, I think, be more impressive this weekend with his legs than with his arms? Just because we've seen such little movement out of the quarterback position. We've seen such a, sitting duck as a target with this offensive line's inability to pass pro. I would think that Brock will make some, kind of impromptu plays, the scramble plays that get you out of a devastating 2nd and 17 becomes a 2nd and 8.
Yeah, that's part of what happened in the Orange Bowl game. There's a couple of moments where he breaks the pocket. It's a scramble. It's not a design quarterback run. It's not a read option. But you saw a decisiveness out of him that he didn't have in the ACC championship game or in the one run that they called for him in Gainesville. They actually ran 2 plays. It was split zone read option out of the pistol. And he ran it, but he didn't run it. The way that you see Klubnik now doing, the total conviction in the idea of taking off and going. He's got to know, after watching this offensive line and being in those film rooms for the first 5 games of the season and being there for limited reps last week, I don't have time. So if in doubt, I have to either get rid of the ball or get moving. So his legs, by definition, will be put more to the test. But I'm just looking for decisiveness out of him. I'm looking for, if something's open underneath and it's first down, and I understand you really want that deep corner to come open, take the 5 or 6, and let's get in 2nd and 4. Those kinds of things. But yeah, the legs will probably be more impressive because to us, we haven't seen anything out of a quarterback's legs this year. So to us, it's going to feel super special.
Well, I tell you that this is your offense changes when you're not constantly behind the chains. Now, that is an obvious observation, no blank, Jeff. But it will be refreshing to be in 2nd and 7 instead of 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13. All of the times where he doesn't make the right decision as to whether to give or throw or keep, that we saw from DJ, let's just assume that if you're reading the end on the read option and, that one false step, Brock's going to get 3 or 4, 2nd and 6. Yeah, man, that your whole playbook opens up.
Well, here's the other thing. I think, just judging by the way Mike is talking about Brock and saying, we need to not turn the ball over. It should have happened before this week. You could say that about a lot of things. But I think you're going to see the Wildcat this week, too. The ACC championship game, that was a part of the plan before it got bad for Brock. Even before it got bad, there were a couple of first downs achieved through the Wildcat. And Lawrence Toafili is very good at timing it up. He almost takes a false jab step to allow time for the slow pull if they're using gap, or it's a jab step to really sell movement one way. He has a great knack for it. So, I thought they were going to break it out after we were 0-2. I was wrong. But I would think in this situation, there's precedent with Brock in the game. Both times he's been a starter, you've used Wildcat. You used it even against Georgia when Toafili wasn't playing. Span ran it. Ja'Kai Douglas ran it. I would imagine it's got to be a part of the game plan this week.
You have to do something to change the math for this offensive line. This run game is really not having, sustained success at all. And I think you have to incorporate anything you can that changes the math. We've talked about this before. That's why you wanted a mobile quarterback. That's why you need a mobile quarterback. That's why most teams have a mobile quarterback. It's especially true for this group. So, yeah, Wildcat achieves that. Quarterback, obviously running himself achieves that. There's a lot there that can open other things for you. So I'm with you. I feel like it should have already happened.
That keeps the clock moving too. I mean, it's amazing. We started the season talking about
not more plays.
I mean, my God, we started the season talking about how Georgia Tech's going to want to shorten the game, how Boston College is going to want to shorten the game, and now opponents they're like, we'll run as long as you want to run.
Plays you want to play, yeah. We're gonna be just fine.
But now here we are saying we need to absolutely
against everybody.
Yeah. Run it down.
Anybody.
I don't want to see a snap executed outside of 10 seconds unless you feel you've got him in a bad personnel. Never.
Tried and True Consulting, a payments and business solutions company owned by our fellow Noles right there. That's right. As a Noles business owner, they're committed to reducing cost and increasing your bottom line and giving back. 10%, in fact, of the Tried and True Consulting's net revenue will go to the Battle's End. Give them a call today. Don, Joe, Rusty, they're all out there. They'll help you with that ad board that I talk about so frequently as well. Help further expose your business services as well as others that they can advertise within your business. They'll do it for free for you. Call Don or Joe or Rusty today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. It's the Jeff Cameron Show. Final hour forthcoming. 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Dream it, plan it, do it. Brian Barnard's Flooring America offers a straightforward way to shop with our streamlined shopping. Finding the right flooring is simple. Visit our newly remodeled showroom featuring the Room to Explore shopping experience, where our knowledgeable staff will walk you through the steps. Our family has been serving the area since 1976 with a local staff of more than 35 people trained in flooring sales and design. We know floors and we know styles. Let us help make your home timeless. Brian Barnard's Flooring America, where friends send friends.
Imagine for a moment that you are completely weightless in zero gravity. All of the weight and worry of life is melted away, and you fall into a state of profound relaxation. This is what you'll find at Tallulah CBD Mushrooms THC in Railroad Square when you try out their state-of-the-art floating pods. While you're there, shop for the best quality CBD, mushrooms, THC, and kava products available. Shop Tallulah today with 6 locations in Tallahassee and the Kava Bar Lounge in Bannerman Crossings. Online at TallulahSmokes.com.
This is Alex from Fulmer's. We've been buying gold and silver jewelry, fine watches, and other collectibles for over 45 years. But did you know Fulmer's buys and sells gold and silver coins, bars, and bullion? Don't get scammed online or pay high shipping and handling fees. Call or stop by Fulmer's for a quick and easy quote. No matter if you're new to investing in bullion or have been collecting a lifetime, Fulmer's is your local source for buying, selling gold and silver coins and bullion. Fulmer's, more than you might expect, with 2 great locations.
As you probably know, Fulmer's buys, sells, and loans on just about anything of value. What you might not know is that when you buy something from us, we guarantee the total satisfaction of your purchase. Buy it, take it home, and if for any reason you decide you don't want it within 7 days, Fulmer's will give you 100% of your money back. And if you decide you don't want the item within 30 days, Fulmer's will let you exchange it for something you do want. At Fulmer's, we guarantee you're going to be happy with your purchase or we'll buy it back. Fulmer's, check cashing, pawn service, and sales. 2 times more than you might expect with 2 great locations.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
What will the Noles do to follow up an unconquered 2023? Warchant.com, the market leader in FSU football and sports coverage, is the place to find out. Join the largest FSU fan community and talk Seminoles sports in Warchant Travel Council and premium recruiting message board forums. Enjoy cutting-edge team coverage led by managing editor Ira Schofel and lead writer Corey Clark, and inside scoops on the transfer portal and recruiting classes with Michael Langston and Matt Lassere. Backed by the best national recruiting network and On 3, there's no debate. Warchant.com's your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
WBFT Gretna, Tallahassee. This is Real Talk 93.3. More of the Jeff Cameron Show is coming up next. Your sports action update on Real Talk 93.3 with all the latest odds from Vegas. Brought to you by Fulmar's Pawn, Gun and Gold. More than you might expect with 2 great locations in Tallahassee.
Florida has won both meetings at UCF at the Swamp, outscoring the Knights 100-27 of those 2 victories. Florida laying 1 against the Knights at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium Saturday, 59.5 the total. Clemson, a 14.5-point road favorite at Florida State, 47.5 the total at Doak Campbell Stadium on Saturday. Thursday night football in the NFL, Falcons a 1.5 home favorite against the Buccaneers, 43.5 the total at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Baker Mayfield over/under passing prop bet 243.5 yards, shaded to the over, 1.5 touchdowns. That is shaded to the under. Jaguars laying 2.5 Sunday at home with a Colt. Bundle and save with Progressive. Progressive.com. For more sports betting news and information, go to VSIN.com. Mike Son at Real Talk 93.3.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments
Welcome to Flight 101.
to annual girls trip moments, your can't miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or diabetes, you're at higher risk of being hospitalized from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
We're all going through our own fitness journey. We want to get the most out of our time in the gym or with a trainer. We want to eat the right things and do the right things to be in the best shape possible. Why not find out exactly where you're at in that journey by getting a DEXA scan today? It's the most accurate measurement of all body composition methods. It is the gold standard in what is used in clinical diagnosis, the only method that can determine bone density and give a direct measurement of visceral fat. You can do so and save a bunch of money. That's why I'm here, guys. Use Jeff25 as a discount code for 25% off any of the services at DexaFit. It's not just a DEXA scan. They have red light therapy that helps accelerate wound healing, pain relief, muscle recovery, improve circulation, skin health. They'll also give you tips on personalized nutrition with weight management, fitness optimization. These are all things that you want to do to help correct imbalances. Go see our friends at DexaFit and save right now. Use code Jeff25. Discount code Jeff25 for 25% off any services at DexaFit.
July 9, 1755, near Fort Duquesne, now the city of Pittsburgh. A 23-year-old British officer leads his troops in battle during the French and Indian War. Though fired upon repeatedly, this young lieutenant colonel remains unharmed. 15 years later, a respected chief sat over a council fire with this same man. As he told all those listening, the Great Spirit protects this man and guides his destiny. He will become the chief of nations, and a people yet unborn will hail him as the founder of a mighty empire. The man was George Washington, who went on to become the commander-in-chief of the Continental Army and the first president of the United States.
Celebrating our nation's quest for freedom and honoring all those who serve, our military, law enforcement, and first responders. Hidden Glass on South Monroe. For mirrored shower enclosures and window glass, call 222-5781. And Sellers Tile on Capitol Circle Northeast for tile, carpet, hardwood, and luxury vinyl. Call 656-8453.
Live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
TV, make sure you like, pass it around. And thanks very much for doing so. I do appreciate it. And if you're listening on 93.3, same holds true there. We'll have to solve for the future this hour. I don't know that I want to continue to chip away at solving for the future by looking at this season. Like maybe players that are on the team for this season. But bigger picture stuff is where we are at. The hay's in the barn, Tom. This is a lost.
The hay is not out of the barn.
No, it's in the barn. It's in the barn. It's done. It is.
Is it off the wagon?
It is. It is. It's been put into the barn. They've shut the doors. They blocked it up. We're good to go. Whatever you do with hay. Really.
You bale it?
Yeah, you do. You do. When I was a little kid, tiny little kid, ran out to the farm in Okima, Oklahoma, and ran around and jumped on the hay. They didn't make little old me do anything with the hay. I got to jump on it. It was really good. It was fun. You thought, wee, it was fun. It's good. Watch cows. The whole to do, Tom. Good stuff.
That's what they should do on Langford Green, right? Just
throw hay.
Have a bunch of hay, some cows. Everybody would calm the hell down a little bit before the game. That would be very peaceful. Petting zoo. The petting zoo. That would be the play.
Petting zoos are fun. It is T-minus 4 hours for Mets Brewers, sir. We good? I keep gauging. Hey, at least you're in it. At least you've got the spike of adrenaline that comes with your team being one game away from advancing in the Major League Baseball playoffs.
I don't have a good feeling, and I mean that not negatively.
Yeah.
I don't have a feeling, which is probably not good, but we'll see. And yes, it didn't dawn on me till I was driving in today, and somebody said the game was at 7. And I said, no, it's not. It's 8:38. I looked at the schedule this week. I know what time the game is.
7 o'clock, buddy.
But it got moved up because everybody else got eliminated. It's the only game 3 there is. So it's the best 2 words in all of sports, Jeff. Game 3.
Game 3. Well, by the way, are you pumped for regular season hockey that gets underway this weekend?
Yeah, they have the international series this weekend.
Right. They do. Yeah. They have the international series this weekend. Kind of fun. Hey, I don't know when we're going to bring back the Red Russians, but we were doing well for a long time there.
Yeah, typically I do well with futures too. Maybe I need to delve into that. I don't have any strong feelings offhand right now about teams that are going to be improved, but I was right on New Jersey's improvement. I was right about one of the Boston teams that fell apart because how could you follow up 60 wins? The total for them was absurd. I'd have to take a look at some of those numbers.
Well, let's go, buddy. Time is of the essence. You don't have
I got a baseball team still playing.
Doesn't mean you can't bet. There's 24 hours in a day. You got plenty of time to kind of go through there.
I got Brock Glenn film to watch.
Let's go, Brock Glenn. Let's go, Brock Glenn. Let's go, Brock Glenn. I don't expect a win. I don't expect that this team's going to go out there and shock the world. Wouldn't it be something? Can you allow yourself to dream it for 1 second? Wouldn't it be something? Just a shot in the arm when you need it most.
What would the score have to be?
To beat Clemson?
Mm-hmm.
24-21.
Well, in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
That's a 27-24
yeah.
in my head.
24-21, something like that. Yeah, you'd have to get a couple of – listen, I think we know that being honest here, Clemson's going to have to help you out. Clemson's going to have to help you out.
Yeah, and your defense will have to be there, engaged, and probably you're going to have to win the turnover margin by 2.
Yeah, you need something significant to happen. You need like a defensive score, a big special teams play, something like that. You're going to have to play your best game of the year, not even close, right? It's going to have to be by far your best effort. Brock can't turn it over. You sustain drives, maybe with his legs, some moments like that where you pick up a 3rd and 9 because he's able to scramble and get out of the way of a blitz and make a play with his legs. I could see that happening too, by the way. We've had none of that. DJ can't move. And so basically they knew where he was going to be and he keeps getting rocked. And, so you need something like that. The game pressure stuff, whenever you're a decided underdog like this, and I know the stadium is compromised right now, but they were really loud for Cal. That was pretty surprising to see that the stands could still, the crowd could still make a difference from an atmosphere and a noise standpoint, even with the reduced capacity and this team not being a great draw. They did a good job. The students did a good job, all of that in the Cal game. You want to put some game pressure on Clemson, who is in a position as of right now to be one of the two teams that's in Charlotte playing for the ACC title. You know, Dabo wants it. He has to have been furious about what happened a year ago with Florida State coming in there and winning that game in overtime, the way that it happened. He's received a bunch of criticism because of his stance on, obviously, the transfer portal. There's been a sense that when they play really good teams, Clemson has certainly fallen off. It's not a sense, it's a reality. The scores are the scores. But, you know, he has remained steadfast that his way is the right way, and he desperately wants to win it. But with that comes some pressure to take care of business, especially as a 2-touchdown-plus favorite on the road. So, you know, you could see a situation if you're trying to create a scenario where you are in a position to shock the world, where possibly you find a way to strike some fire in your locker room for the first time seemingly this year. It would have to be that you get midway through the third quarter, and this is a one-possession game, a 3-point game, something like that, and Clemson begins to feel the weight of that. There's no pressure on FSU. None. This season's a lost cause. They have failed miserably. It has been a disaster. It has been talked about in that way for weeks now. Go play football, have some fun, see if you can't shock the world. Get in a position where you have an opportunity to put pressure on Clemson.
You know, I think sometimes the start of games are overrated. You just get into the flow of it and see what happens, because over the course of 60 minutes, if you're better, it will show. You know, obviously we're not in this situation. So
yeah,
I believe that tendency breakers, things that haven't been on film because Brock is in at quarterback, and the Wildcat, you know, coming back to
kitchen sink, buddy. Everything you got.
I think that is the path to being in a game in the second half, would be you break out all those things. Clemson hasn't seen it, so therefore they're not prepared. They make a couple of mistakes and you score 10 points out of it. You know, you get 10 points on a couple of drives, then they react and they adapt. And now you're in a dogfight where maybe it's 17-10 midway of the third quarter. You know, they have a couple of possessions that come up empty because of a penalty, a turnover, things like that. I mean, again, going back to the Stanford game, Stanford threw an interception into the end zone. They threw a second interception when they were at the outer edge of the red zone. Another drive that was ticketed for a short field, and I forget if it was a turnover or a penalty, something short-circuited that drive. But all of those moments put together led to Clemson being in a position at 20-7 to put the game on ice, which they did. That's what good teams do. They put games on ice. But Stanford, mighty, in quotation marks, Stanford was in a position where they could have scared Clemson. I don't think they were ever going to win the game, but they could have scared them. And people would have paid attention to that result, saying, whoa, the bottom line does that upset alert thing for ESPN. Like, it would have been on there for a little while.
Well,
so it's within the margins, but you better to scare them. I'm not saying to win. It's within the margins to scare them, but you better cash in on the newness of things with Brock at quarterback, and if you break out Wildcat on other weird looks.
Yeah, so since they got beat 34-3 by Georgia and the offense was anemic, 140 yards passing, less than 60 yards rushing from Maffa in that game, you know, they have turned it around against teams that are downright terrible right now, but give them credit because they've done what they should do in those moments. 66-20 against App State, 59-35 against NC State, 40-14 against Stanford. You mentioned that score maybe not indicative of the way that game looked for much of it. But part of that has been the fact that Klubnik has played with great confidence, 12-2 touchdown interception ratio. He's run the ball well, averaging over 6 yards a carry. When he does run, he's decisive, I should say, excuse me. He gets the most out of what he has and now believes, obviously. So if you can get it to the second half and have it be a close game, you could throw some doubt in there. Because again, when you're dropping 66, 59, and 40 against the likes of App State, NC State, and Stanford, you might have a false sense that your offense has been remedied, your offense has been fixed, that you're now elite again, even though that may not be true. I don't know. I think Florida State's defense on this list will be the best up front that they've played, not named Georgia, obviously. Georgia is dominant, but those other three don't scare you up front. So maybe it is rough sledding early on, tough sledding early on for Clemson. Yes, you're going to have to be committed, though, because Maffa's a load. And I think that Clemson's going to want to bully you a little bit. Yeah. And you got to want to get him to the ground.
Well, and they've shown a propensity. Some coordinators can't help themselves but get cute when something is working over and over again. But they've shown enough, at least to me so far this year, that if you can't stop it, they'll just continue to do it.
Smart.
And it's the right way to do things. And Maffa is the perfect type of back for that. He's been there forever. He was always the compliment to Shipley.
He was always like more intimidating to look at too. You're always like, that's a big dude.
Shipley was, if the backside of the play, if you're not where you need to be, I'm going to cut it back and I'm going to smoke you because I'm just supremely athletic. And Moffitt's an athlete too, don't get me wrong, but man, he will show the discussion we had earlier today about willingness to get people to the ground.
Right.
Phil Moffitt is the ultimate truth serum for how much you want to be there on Saturday night. Phil Moffitt will tell the tale.
You think NFL coaches say that when Derrick Henry comes to town? Not that Moffitt's Henry, but, it's sort of the same thing. Like, hey, man, not for nothing, you got to really want to tackle Derrick Henry. You got to care greatly if you don't want to get your head knocked off. And go low.
Try and chop him down.
Today sparks 55 straight days, as I said, of football. You're a football fan? Here you go. 2 college football games tonight to go along with Bucks Falcons. Tomorrow, 4 college football games. Obviously, week 6 is Saturday. On Sunday, NFL week 5. On Monday, Saints Chiefs. On Tuesday, FIU Liberty. We keep it going. Wednesday, New Mexico State, Jacksonville State. On Thursday, 3 college football games on a Thursday. Can I interest you in that? Also, 49ers Seahawks, great game next Thursday. Friday, 4 is week 7. Sunday, NFL week 6. Monday, Bills Jets. We just keep on keeping on.
Pistols.
3 games on Tuesday, 2 games on Wednesday, 2 more on Thursday, followed by Broncos Saints. Friday, 4 games. Saturday, week 8, week 7 NFL Sunday. It's just glorious. Glorious. It's the heavy season. Today enters the heavy season.
Well,
officially you enter the heavy season because it is so easy to say, oh, don't mind if I do wings and a pitcher of beer because the game is on. And there's another one where that came from.
Wings sounded like a proper noun, not a plural noun. So I was looking at next week's forecast. This is not the Lewin. But okay, just hear me out. These things lie all the time. They do. But according to the app, next Thursday, we'll have a low of 58. Next Friday, a low of 56. And next Saturday, a low of 58. Highs don't touch 80 degrees those days. Now, that might just be a lie because the weather app knows that we need to feel some hope down here in Tallahassee. And so they want to give the people some hope ahead of Clemson coming to town. But if you have 50s, high 50s in the mornings late next week to go with football every night,
the wins.
That's a Cat 5 maintained in and of itself. That's a bye-week, beautiful weather weekend. Dude.
And we could sure use a break from this sorry-ass football team.
Is there a maintain, or do you lift the maintain in that situation?
For a bye week? Like you're worried we're going to get too loose on the bye week?
Well, great weather,
Well, great weather, bad team, respite from work is a confluence of events.
Which is why I'm asking about the maintain.
Yeah. But I would maybe suggest you not maintain. You let it fly. Let it rip. Have a good time. Be safe about it. Obviously, be smart. But have a good time. We, like Norvell in this Florida State football program, is put upon the trauma for this entire community of ours.
Maybe we should ask Bill at Corner Pocket and Eddie Agordo's how liquor sales are done.
Oh, I can tell you that there's another side to all of this that would maybe bore people and doesn't interest them on a sports talk radio show. But, I thought last weekend in Dallas, now that was the Bowden Society meeting, by the way. Everybody who's a part of the Bowden Society gathered in Dallas.
Ooh.
Word on the street was that didn't go well.
Society.
Word on the street was that didn't go well. That there are heavy hitters who are angry, very angry.
Wait, what about the hospitality of it, or
this
just the game?
Garbage ass?
Okay, well,
program.
I want to make sure that the balance is.
No, no.
Hey, man, these are the folks that are going to need to get us out of the mess a little bit. So,
and they're angry.
Yeah,
they are angry, as they would have a right to be. They've had to contribute an awful lot. This is what it has wrought. That's not a great return on investment.
Should have brought them to Charleston Southern for the Bowden Society meeting.
So that get-together featured certainly prominent folk who had a lot to say about what's happening out there. We saw last week, same week, Mike jogging off the field dealing with an inebriated fan who is asking for the money back. That is the beginning of larger and nastier issues. And what does it center around? Money. People's pockets are being affected. There's no getting around the fact that when Florida State is winning big, this community is surging. Businesses doing well, hotels doing well, restaurants thriving, brings people to town. When that school program playing poorly, less people in town, less folks excited about the product, less people going out to eat, less people coming to Tallahassee, period. You are affecting the bottom line. You're affecting the bottom line of a lot of people. I can assure you, this is an easy guess. I have not heard from him personally on this. But, listen, if you're there in College Town, you're probably taking a beating right about now. You were already going to make far less money this year because of the renovation to the stadium. Now, this is your product. This is what we got here. And those guys are now projecting based on the back half of the season. Like, you got lucky because Parents Weekend was here, and early on, people probably wanted to come to town because, Georgia Tech was overseas. Who knows? Could have been a fluke. We'll go to that holiday weekend game against BC. We'll come to town for that. All right. But, man, now they know what it is.
At least, though, you front-loaded the home games because after this weekend, and Clemson will bail you out too, I think they'll have a good showing in terms of the attendance. Now, I don't know about the extra. Well, I don't know. The tailgate lot's going to be filled early in the day. You know, that's always a telltale sign from our perch at Hotel Indigo, which is the best view. But you can get a sense at how engaged the fan base is by how early those IM fields, fill up. And for a game like this, normally, as we would start the meet and greet at 4:00, which it is on Saturday, I think it would be full. A third full when we get there.
Yeah, it's just bitterly disappointing. And when the losses begin to affect the money, the grievances, the airing of the grievances become kind of an omnipresent thing. Everywhere you look, people have got something to say about that. And, that's when tough decisions get made. This is when things start happening, when how much can you afford for this to continue? Now, obviously, you're going to get through all of this season and Mike's not going to be fired or anything like that. But you start getting into the ugly side of the economics of losing. The economics of losing is a very real thing.
Which is why I've been worrying about where is it all going to come from? Because the way out of this is the way that nobody wants to hear right now. Certainly not the Bowden Society.
Or anybody else that gave a chunk of change and watched this play out.
Correct. They've never had more resources at Florida State than they've had this year, dollar for dollar. Never.
Yeah, and you're not going to top certain other schools, but you're in the top 15.
Right.
So, and you certainly had more money and resources and better players than any of the teams that you've lost to so far.
That's, again, yes, doubling down that they've never had more resources than they've had this year. And this is the return on the investment you get, but the only way out is to spend more. And where is that going to come from? And these are the decisions that the Board of Trustees are going to have to, crunch the numbers on. The athletic department's going to have to crunch the numbers on. Whatever the fix, and you could say it's all new coaches. You could say it's a couple new coaches. But NIL presence, move money around. Look, it doesn't come directly from the university yet, but come on now. You're asking the same people for help for all things Florida State athletics, the same bigwigs. It's all going to be expensive. There is no cheap way out of this.
Really need to get the Spanx lady in. We really got to get her in tow.
20-odd years for that.
Come on, Spanx lady. Come on back. I don't know what happened all those years ago, but come on, let's get you back in here. Let's see this thing get turned around thanks to Spanx.
Get me the phone number for Spanx.
Sir, do it. These are desperate times. Get her on the phone.
I'm going to make it right.
Jeff25 is the code. Jeff25 will save you 25%. Go see the DexaFit folks over there by Bumpus and get a DEXA scan. We've seen a lot of people jump on the diet pills, supplements, things like Ozempic. Those are, sort of trending diets and ways to control your weight. But you end up back at square one. And there's a better way to do it, a more efficient way to do it. The results of a DEXA scan can help you improve your health long-term. It gives you real, true longevity to your life because what it is you need to cut back on, what you need to work with, what you need to work on. And, they give you opportunities within whatever your workout system is. So say you go to Orange Theory, you can still do that and learn a bit about your body. You want, obviously, to get rid of visceral fat. The increase of visceral fat risks a lot of health problems, heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, high sugar levels, all those things. Not the good cholesterol, but the bad cholesterol. So a DEXA scan is painless, takes almost no time. It's a smarter way to go about becoming more efficient with your health goals. So go check them out today. But remember, if you do, Jeff25 is the code you want to use. Jeff25. It'll save you 25%.
Barman, you look so twisted. What did you do now?
Well, Hank the alligator needed his teeth brushed, and when I bent over to give him a scrub, my back popped like an afternoon lightning storm in Florida. And now I can't even stand up.
You need to go to FinChiro.com and schedule your new patient appointment right away at FinChiro.com. That's FENNCHIRO.com.
I'm really busy. I don't want to leave Hank in the orange grove unattended for too long.
Fin Chiropractic will get you in right away, and they get to the cause of your problems. So go to FinChiro.com and make your new patient appointment. There's even an online discount.
Discount? That's a good thing because my purse is a little light since I bought Hank a new gold chain.
You have to take care of yourself if you want to be able to take care of your alligator, Hank. Make your appointment now. Go to FinChiro.com.
Well, hold my pina colada. I'm going to FinChiro.com.
Surprising flavors, cultural authenticity, and unique adventures are some of the main ingredients that go into every single plate served at Café de Martín, Tallahassee's best Peruvian dining experience. Led by classically trained Chef Martín, passion for culture, passion for flavor, and a passion for people can be felt from the moment you step inside. Café de Martín also offers an unparalleled outdoor dining experience in the garden. Surrounded by vibrant flowers and plants and nestled between carefully curated decor, the shaded and breezy outdoor garden features elegant live music regularly, and the romantic evening lighting makes Café de Martín the best place to share conversation and connect with the ones you love. Every dish is made from scratch, and every drink is handmade by trained bartenders, offering the very best margaritas and old fashions in the city. Take a trip to a Peruvian paradise right here in the capital city. Visit Café de Martín and El Bar on Capitol Circle Northeast in the Esposito Shopping Center. Open daily for lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Find the full menu online at cafedemartin.com.
Leaky faucet, busted pipes, clogged toilet? M&L Plumbing is here for you. For all commercial, construction, and residential plumbing issues, call M&L Plumbing at 575-9393 or visit online at mnlplumbing.com.
Harnessing the power of the sun, delivering the highest quality drinking water, we are warming homes and fueling industries. And behind every service, there's a dedicated team. They're your neighbors, friends, and family. We are connected, and together we are stronger. Day and night, rain or shine, the City of Tallahassee Utilities is working for you.
Siri, tell me a joke. The first song I tried to write was about a tortilla, but it turned into a rap.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Mac & More Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Mac & More Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
All right, let's solve for the future with our friends at ISF. It's a local company that does work across the country, national work. These guys are great. ISF partners that are fun to work with because they'll take your vision and then they have an expertise and they'll combine it and they'll collaborate with you. Invested in your success, industry-leading practices, ISF team members going above and beyond with organizational transformation, strategy and operations. We've talked to you about the IT modernization aspect of what they do. If you're ready to solve for the future, you're going to want to do it with ISF, ISF.com. Go to that website, check it out. You can see many examples of their capabilities, their clients, their insights, and their about us, of course. Go check it out today. Tom, you know what I decided to do? I decided we weren't going to put the magnifying glass up to this program, this roster, these games that remain this season. We've done plenty of solving for the future with this sorry-ass bunch right now. I decided that we'd solve our own future. We'd solve our peace of mind beginning with next week's game since we have buys.
Okay.
We have a bye, buddy. So let's ease on in. Remember, this is the start of 55 straight days.
Hey, now, and if it is that it comes to pass that you've got 77, 78-degree highs, that means that we're going to find a deck somewhere around here and go take in all the games.
Yeah, Corner Pocket would work great. They've got a great deck. We
yes,
can go
they
any
do.
number of places, but yeah, we love their food too. And also, you and I will find a golf course soon, and we'll do a lot of things, hanging out, playing golf, going and sit down at the bar, asking Stoney for a cold one while we watch a little football. Won't suck.
Yes, his Steelers aren't doing terribly, but his poor Raiders. He's got two teams.
Yeah, I tease him about that, but yeah, he's got two teams. Well, you know, Stoney's up there. He came around at a time where those two teams in particular,
they were badass,
along with the Cowboys.
Yeah,
those were the squads. All right, so if you look ahead to what is that, the week 7 week, and I don't know if you want to start on Tuesday, probably not.
Sure.
Florida International versus Liberty.
Oh, good luck, Florida International, because Liberty never dies.
Williams Stadium in Lynchburg, Virginia. Good old Williams Stadium. Wednesday's New Mexico State, Jacksonville State. That's going to push the effort for me to not take for granted football monitor that I had.
Was that the Seahawks and 49ers game? You said there was a good NFL game.
That was a Thursday. The NFL games that's a Thursday. That's a really good game. But this game is a Wednesday.
Oh, that's Wednesday. Sorry.
Yeah. Thursday, you're right. I'll get into the 49ers Seahawks because on Thursday you have Coastal Carolina, James Madison, Bridgeforth Stadium. Middle Tennessee, Louisiana Tech.
Memorial Stadium?
Joe Allett Stadium.
Memorial, I'm sure.
UTEP, Western Kentucky. That would be Houchins Industries LT Smith Stadium.
Houchins?
Houchins? Houchens. I should probably know what that is. It's Houchins Industry, LT Smith Stadium.
We're in the Houchins district.
Hey, now. Friday is Memphis in South Florida. Okay.
Oh.
Little Ray J. Northwestern Maryland. UNLV, Utah State. Maverick Stadium, Logan, Utah. Utah, Arizona State. Mountain America Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. And then Saturday, you're going to sit back and you are going to watch some good Big Ten football, ladies and gentlemen. That's how we're solving for the future. Saturday on the Peacock, you're going to be watching Ohio State, Oregon.
Whoa.
On the Peacock, what? Ohio State, Oregon, baby.
No.
Autzen Stadium.
They aren't broadcasting that game to the country? You have to have the streaming service for that?
I don't know. It says on the Peacock.
That would be...
I'm sure it's NBC/Peacock.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be.
That would be ridiculous.
It'd be pretty funny. I have Peacock.
I do too.
Penn State, Southern Cal. Okay.
Interesting.
Don't mind if I do.
One of the great uniform games that we can have in this fine country.
CBS Paramount Plus.
I do have that. I've got Paramount.
You have more than you realize. Yeah. What would have been kind of a fun game a year ago, that'll be Washington and Iowa.
Ooh.
Kinnick Stadium.
Rose Bowl adjacent.
Yeah, the South Carolina-Alabama game. That's in Bryant-Denny and Tuscaloosa.
Nothing outstanding.
Yeah, nothing there. See if I can find you another one. Oh, it's the Red River, baby. It's the Red River.
Oh.
It's Texas and Oklahoma.
Probably an ass kicking.
Probably. Cotton Bowl, Dallas.
You never know.
Boomer Sooner, baby.
That's your nooner, right? So that means Ohio State, Oregon.
3:30. 3:30. Cotton Bowl. Oklahoma. Texas. You also get,
Oh, no. We out of games?
No, there's more games. There's a lot of games.
I know.
Florida, Tennessee, which traditionally would have been a lot of fun. That'll be your night game in Knoxville at Neyland. Volunteer Navy rolling in.
Okay.
Should be an ass beating.
Should be.
You do get Ole Miss LSU. What a fine bye week, buddy. We're going to be all right. We are solving for the future.
Ole Miss LSU.
7:30 at night. Tiger Stadium, Baton Rouge. Let's go.
Don't blow it again, Lane. You've only got 3 more losses that you can work with before they leave you out of the Invitational.
The thing is, Florida desperately needs them left out of the Invitational because if they're going to make a run at Lane, he can't be in the playoffs. And I would like Lane to make the playoffs now because I don't want Florida to get Lane.
Oh, interesting.
Uh-huh.
Good point. Yeah, because you want Lane next year. That's why.
No, Lane can stay at Ole Miss. I just don't want him to go to Florida. And if we need to get Lane after next year.
I hope not.
Oh, I do. Come on down, Lane. Let's go. You talk about fun?
You want a clown show?
No. He's turned it around, Tom.
Oh, okay.
He's turned it around.
It's the Feinbaum thing. Now, yes, that's funny. But
No, and he got it together, sobered up. He's solid. He's solid now. I forgive people, Tom. I don't know about you.
You never pick on Wispy and live to talk about it. In my eyes.
Oh. Mortensen. Yeah, and then you get K-State and Colorado for the late game. Not bad. Folsom Field, Boulder, Colorado. Also not bad. Boise State out at Hawaii at 11 p.m. Did you see where Hawaii is about to strike a deal with a gambling company because they're always the most bet game of the weekend?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
people are chasing
at 11 o'clock at night. They're drunk. They're angry. Chasing some money with Hawaii. And they're going to broker a deal with a gambling outlet.
Wow. So one of them shut down recently, WinBet.
Oh, yeah?
WinBet shut down. And I had forgotten that I had signed up for WinBet years ago.
Me too.
when I was in New York because all the books were legal there early. And I got a check from them of my outstanding balance.
What did you make? $10?
$70.
$70 from Win.
$70. Maybe I'll throw that on Hawaii this weekend.
Well, we both got our MGM Grand card, didn't we, when we were in Biloxi?
I didn't do it. You did. I did not.
I certainly did.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that you're going to Biloxi for the bye week?
I could. There's a lot of good football on. Take it to Biloxi.
That sports book where we were had left a lot to be desired.
It's in Biloxi. You're not in Vegas. You're in Mississippi.
No, but you could serve a beer once every 45 minutes.
Well, they weren't speed demons, but I mean, you could, you probably find the right person. Well, we were also bellying up next to that crazy drunk lady who was falling all over the place.
No, that actually ended up being a better spot.
And that was also funny.
That moment notwithstanding, because the guy got it. That bartender understood what the game was.
He knew the deal, yeah.
And you just play a little video poker and drinks are free.
Keep slinging them.
But we were front row. This is on the way to New Orleans. We're front row for, was it West Virginia,
Penn State. It was Penn State. Tried to throw it away because they're sorry-ass quarterback.
Well, that was the next game. That was Penn State, maybe Penn State, West Virginia, and then Pitt, Tennessee. I think it might have been Pitt, Tennessee.
You might be right. Or North Carolina.
Because the book gave me the wrong number. I requested a number. They gave me the wrong one, and they said tough, and I ended up threading the needle. It ended up being between two goalposts.
It worked out for you, didn't it?
Boy, that was a really bad sports book. We got to find a better one in Biloxi.
Well, there are others.
Next weekend.
Yeah, we can make it happen. ISF IT strategy, develop an enterprise-wide strategy to align resources around key goals, drive targeted improvements. They do all those things. They do it here locally. They do it across the country. They work with state agencies as well. Man, they're going to modernize what you're doing. They're going to make it much more efficient so that you can obviously achieve your goals, help more people. That's a good thing. It's ISF. Go to ISF.com to learn more. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A person was struck by a vehicle Wednesday afternoon along West Pensacola Street. The collision happened just before 4 p.m., according to the Tallahassee Online Police Statistics Map. It was labeled as traffic collision with injury on the map and took place near the intersection of Pensacola and Osley Roads. The pedestrian's condition and details of the crash are limited at the moment. At about 5 p.m., a Tallahassee Police Watch commander confirmed the pedestrian was struck by a vehicle, but no further information was disclosed. This is a developing story. This November, Tallahassee residents will vote on 5 changes to the city's charter or constitution. One of the biggest items on the ballot includes potential pay raises for city commissioners. If passed, commissioners would make the same as county commissioners, just under $100,000. Right now, the city commissioners are paid half of the county commissioners, meaning they make about $50,000. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
Now, here's your Paul's Termite and Pest Control Tallahassee weather report.
Staying warm with cloudy conditions at times to end the week. Only slight chances of rain. Highs staying in the mid to upper 80s with lows near 70. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 72. Friday, a 30% chance of rain, partly cloudy, high of 86, low of 72. Saturday, also a 30% chance, high of 85. From Real Talk 93.3, this is Danielle Kelly.
For the elimination of termites, pests, and for a greener lawn too, call Paul's. They'll get them all.
Honey, I'm home.
We're in here, honey.
So why are all my friends here?
Have a seat, Dave. We need to talk about your problem.
Problem? I don't have a problem.
Dave, you do have a problem. A problem with your grill. Here's some pamphlets from Hearth and Patio. They are waiting for your call to help you upgrade your grill.
If you or someone you know needs a grilling intervention, call Hearth and Patio today at 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282 or hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
Searching for the best place to host an event for your friends and family? The Golf Club at Summerbrook is more than just a place for a round of golf. It's also one of the best choices for hosting and celebrating the most special days in your life. From rehearsal dinners and baby showers to corporate banquets and kids' birthday parties, you'll receive amazing personal service and attention to every detail when you choose the Golf Club at Summerbrook. Find out how affordable it can be and call us today at 850-894-GOLF. That's 850-894-GOLF.
This is Hugh Tomlinson, president of the Tallahassee Quarterback Club. I invite you to join our historic club supporting local football since 1949. Don't miss our exciting events featuring legendary and popular football personalities. Get updates from FSU coaches, win great door prizes, and stay on top of all local football. Attend our next event featuring two-time Super Bowl winning coach Dean Pease on October 15th. Get your tickets or join our club at TallahasseeQBClub.com. That's TallahasseeQBClub.com. Get in the game. Get in the club.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
And away we go. One other thing to remind you of, and it is true, I saw where Ryan mentioned it as well, at least if you're going to check out FSU on the road, the trip to Notre Dame comes with Chicago, and that is true. And there's a lot to do, a lot of great food, a lot of great people, a lot of great history, art, and the like, any number of things to do and have fun with in Chicago. I'm going to be there. Many folks that I know within the Seminole community will be there as well. And if you are going to go, I'm trying to make it a trip for the family. I'm trying to make it so that the kids get to go to Florida State, Notre Dame, and see a Bears game the next day. That's something they'll remember, right? That's something they're going to do. So if you're doing something like that, because I get it, the play of Florida State isn't exactly causing everybody to race to buy tickets to the Florida State Notre Dame game. I get it. But if you're going to do the whole experience thing, then here you go. The travel and tailgate experience is what this is about. Spirit Express. So that is SPEARIT Express.com. Spirit Express is what you want to do. Go there and sign up. Premium open bar, 4-hour all-inclusive tailgate, extensive food menu, heated tent and entertainment. Many of us from Warchant will be there as well. The Windy City Seminole Club will be hosting a bash as well. This is going to be good. A lot of fun. So I, for one, like nice, cool weather. You're bound to get it there that time of year. Not going to lie, looking forward to seeing the kids' faces when they go in to watch Florida State Notre Dame, and then also the next day to see the Bears. So good times. SpiritExpress.com.
Promo code WARCHANT to save as well. So make sure that at the checkout line, if you are finalizing your plans, use promo code WARCHANT. Also, it is family friendly as well. So like they've got the open bar, all that stuff. If you want to bring one of your kids, a couple of your kids along with you for the ride, they will just have a different band, like most events of this nature, which say they are under the age of 21. But they got the food, the entertainment, the heated tents. We did this particular event 6 years ago.
We did.
And it was a similar situation, sadly, for the football team. But the tailgate was unbelievable. The setting was really, really cool, as much as I rag on the town. It was a great experience. And it also gets you out of that town as soon as the game is over, which is something you most certainly want to do.
Ride out of town on that bus with a cold one and some friends, and then you make it back into Chicago. The next day you get up, you go, hey, I'm going to go check out Bears-Patriots, get into Soldier Field, enjoy that game, then leave on that Monday. You're back in Tally, and away we go. Good times. Good times. We did have a blast. You weren't feeling real well, but we had a blast.
Yeah, I was fighting the flu. But hey, those were different times too. The world looked at, doing things while sick very differently in 2018. And I was like, the hell with it. I've got 103-degree temperature at 1 in the morning.
I'm going to do it. It's going to be all right.
Well, one of the things that set me back was the heater in the ESPN Radio Chicago studios. That studio was sweltering.
It was.
Oh, my God.
We had thought that they weren't used to the cold. We walked through the little snowflakes that were beginning to fall. You and I did as we were walking into ESPN Chicago.
It's a serious operation with the security down there,
They're not fooling around in that place. They looked at us like we were terrorists, but we got in there, and they eventually we had enough of the qualifications that they said, oh, well, please come on in. And then we sat down in that studio, like you said, got geared up, did the show for back here in Tallahassee. And I will tell you, I had a great time. So did you, but you're right. It was like, guys, it's cold here a lot in Chicago. You do not need to have it at 80 in here. Let's go.
It was that clammy heat too. Now that might be the sickness talking.
I think that was the sickness talking.
Oh, man.
It's the clammy heat, Jeff. We can't have all this clammy heat.
We got done with that show. I went to the hotel room. I didn't leave the rest of the night. That's when you had your famous dinner.
That's when I got cornered by the scientist.
That's right. That's a Coldplay song.
Well, I don't know. It was. I don't know if I was cornered. I mean,
you were willing.
I was talking to a scientist. We were having a good time.
The bartender was just laughing.
Oh yeah,
this guy doesn't have a clue.
Can I get you another bottle?
Sure.
Yeah. Me and the scientists are having a blast. I mean, that food was delicious. I walked down into that bar, that mahogany. Oh, it was gorgeous. It was good. It was good. She must have thought, well, this guy's got a little coin on him. He's up there ordering a full bottle of red for himself while he's eating up at the bar watching sports, which I was. It was awesome. It was perfect. I was taking my time.
It's a bottle of red kind of night.
It was a bottle of red kind of night.
No glasses here.
No,
Sir, we have a happy hour. They're 2 for $1. Nonsense. Give me a fresh bottle.
No, he brought over the bottle. He did give me a glass. I did want a glass. I wasn't going to chug straight from the bottle at a fine place like that. The funny part is I walked in and they had the upstairs main dining area, and I'm more a belly up to the bar kind of guy, especially on that day. And I walked in and I was like, you have a bar here? And then the lady was like, oh, sir, yes, we do. It's gorgeous downstairs. Go ahead. And that's when I went downstairs and I walked in and I was like, oh, this is a place here. This has been around. I like this. Had the right smells, everything. The guy, as soon as I sat down,
yes,
yeah,
that's important.
It is important. We had a good time. I'm not telling the Penthouse Forum story again, live spectator. It was just, yeah, it was fun. And then you guys all laughed at me when I revealed that I didn't know. It's like that time down in Tampa when I was in Ybor going there trying to go to the jazz bar. And then that guy goes, you ever been to Kentucky? And I was like, oh, I have been to Kentucky. And then my buddy who's the cop was like, no. You not. Nope. Keep walking. I'm so naive on that stuff. I'm like, I have been to Kentucky, sir. What? When did you go?
What part?
Yeah.
Whatever part you like, partner.
Oh man, yeah, that was It's exactly. It was my buddy, the now a detective, was like grabbing my arm, like, no, that's not. He's not actually interested in whether or not you've been to Kentucky. What do you mean? But I have, Bill. I've been to Kentucky. Like, nope. For these purposes, you have not been to Kentucky.
For the love of God, just trust me in this moment.
Yeah,
keep walking.
Keep walking. I actually have told that story, but I was with a youth group back in the day and went to Kentucky and helped build houses up in the mountains, and I stepped on a nail, and it made me hate the people that I was building the houses for because I stepped on a nail. I took it out on them. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Get it together out here so I won't have to be stepping on nails. Right on. You ever done that? You ever stepped right on a nail?
Hell no.
Oh, buddy. Right
No.
in the foot.
So when you are of my generation, and one of the movies that's a formative movie in your youth is Home Alone, and he does that to Daniel Stern's character Marv.
Oh, yeah.
And they show his foot going into the nail. You are so afraid of that it will never happen to you in your life. It'll never happen.
Well, I stepped right on a nail, and it pierced right through the middle of my foot.
If only Home Alone came out in 1957 when you were a kid, you know?
Nicely done. And by the way, not only did I step on that nail, but then I had to go and get these tetanus shots, and it was just ridiculous. There was a kid in my... Oh, we're loosey-goosey in the third hour. Live Spectator. Have you ever been to Blowing Rock, North Carolina? I have not, and that would have been funny because I would have been taking that as earnest as well. But no, I've not been to Blowing Rock. Oh, it's a shame. Want to go? No, not really. No. What's in Blowing Rock? Oh, I'll show you.
No. This seems strange. You picked two weird places on the map, sir, for Ebor.
Why? Yeah, I was going to a jazz bar, ended up being asked about Kentucky. That's pretty rare. Let's get to them. At Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Texas, if you're not giving the effort or struggling, you're getting replaced by five-star players waiting for their shot. They know it. I don't think they fear that here. Not currently. No, Kev, not currently. That's for sure. But I will tell you, obviously, coaches, as you well know, control playing time. And regardless if that's a five-star guy, yes, you're right. You want that level of competition at all times. We saw it. We've seen it before. It's incredible.
Ramon's a competition this camp, legitimate competition. Dudes shuffling in and out.
But alas. But yeah, the classic, we always have fun with it, iron sharpens iron part of it. Ukrainian mail order bride industry is booming. When was the last time Clemson lost 2 games in a row to the same team? It's got to be the Noles in 2014. The Tigers have the revenge factor. They will not be overlooking the game. Well, no, I don't think they'll be overlooking the game. I don't know. 2 games in a row to the same team. Is it Georgia? Clemson?
Could be. They got bounced by Ohio State in the playoff recently.
But 2 years in a row to the same team.
Yeah, that would have been, oh my God, we got the ball back. You know, the overtime game 10 years ago.
Right, yeah.
Which is wild because we went on a dry spell till last year against Clemson.
Ridiculous.
I don't know that the personal thing is going to, I think the Georgia game influences their attitude more than a revenge factor against Florida State. Now, it can't hurt them. You know, whatever the motivation, it can't hurt. And I don't know if they're on a bye like we are next week, but I always feel like that adds to the reckless abandon one can play with. Is if we, look, guys, we get a week off next week, so just give it all you got. Because certainly the film wouldn't scare them about us.
Yeah, I said that. Look, you go back. This has been at times a very contentious series, but not lately. And
they don't have a bye next week, but they play Wake, so they do.
Yeah. Yeah, when is the last time they did? You're right. They lost last year, the first game of the season to Duke. We remember that game. The year before that, they had beaten Miami. They lost to Miami last year, 2020.
Hogwatcher says maybe Pitt twice. That's possible. Pitt did upset them in their building once, and Pitt won the ACC championship, so could be.
Yeah, you got to go back a ways. That's a really good question. That's well thought out. Thanks for the contribution there. Yeah, 27-17. Pitt beat Clemson, and they were both ranked at the time. Clemson was 14, Pitt was 13. And that was a couple years ago. So, yeah, that's oof. I'll go back and see if I know this makes for great radio, but I am really curious. The year before, Clemson house Pitt. So, yeah.
Might be us.
It could be.
Could be us.
Here it comes this weekend, buddy. Get you some. Here it comes.
Brock and Awe. We hit him with Brock and Awe.
We will have to hit him with Brock and Awe. I will tell you that if, in fact, they win this game, Florida State wins this game, and they're not going to win this game, but if they do, Tom, we will use Brock and Awe from here on out on this show.
It's a good shirt, too.
Little Brock and Awe. I'm rooting for the kid. He's been put in bad situations. It'd be nice to see him go out and play well.
It's the only situations he's been put in. Bad situations.
Really bad situations. I don't know that he's the future. I think most people believe that Kromenhoek is. I do look forward to the rest of this season to see if those two, split time and we go from there. There's no reason to put
that's coming.
Oh, it kind of has to.
Look, if Brock gets hurt too, because he's going to run, is it Kromenhoek or do they put Trevor Jackson in that situation? I don't want to get there to that moment, but look, he's going to run a lot, and he's going to have to run a lot, which means there's going to be some hits taken.
I wonder what they have in place for an injury to Brock. Like, you got to start thinking about your contingency plans here. I mean, it would be ridiculous not to, right? Am I going?
ACC championship should have taught you that.
Well,
last
should have, but yeah, you got to be ready for a situation like that. At least even a series, just because he does run a lot. Good work out of you, sir. Appreciate everybody. Thanks so much. We'll be with you again tomorrow on a Libations Friday, loosey-goosey edition of the program. Enjoy the baseball and the football tonight. We got it all. Got it all, kids. Enjoy 55 straight days of football. Until tomorrow, peace.